gifted membership to CZ. Let me see here. Oh, sorry about that. No, no problem. Yeah, they do hop in the show. They have been recently, so. And if you're not in here, I'll definitely ask if I see them. What's up, Renee? There's Jinx. Just a couple. Nelly B. That's right, Nelly B. Nelly B. Great show. Great show, bro. What's up, P Fox? Thank you so much for the super sticker. I got to scroll down real quick. It's a big thumbs up. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. I always got to look back and check because I love the animations. What's up, CJK? Thank you for hopping in. Yes, thank you very much, Brett. And there is Coach Kev's True Crime Talks link if you want to go hit the sub. Like I said, great conversation they had. Cold Truth, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for hopping in. All right. Well, I went ahead and got through all my hellos real quick. I'm going to bring Silky and Coach Kev up here to join us tonight. I want to say thank you to them for taking out time out of their evening to join the show. And good evening. Thank you guys so much. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, CJ. Hey, Coach Kev.
CJ, Silky, everyone in chat, how are you? Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you guys on tonight. And I love the Flora Angels shirt, man. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. You have way more subscribers to me, so I figured it'd be better off to wear it here and more people would see it.
Well, actually, with the, doing this show, and since it's my first time like meeting you on a platform besides comments or whatever, or emails or messages, but since we're on, I would like to do a Flora episode here soon. It's something that I've talked about doing again here. Talking to Jinx about doing a Flora episode coming up. So if you guys can let me know, I'm thinking if there's any days between I think it's after the 18th or something, maybe that first week, if you guys would know what your schedules are like out around that time, or maybe like a week away or something like that. If you want to hit me up, and I can try and see if I can schedule everybody at the same time, if you guys would like to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are weekdays or weekends better for you guys?
I don't know. Silky, you work like a different schedule. I work 24 hours and I'm off 3 days. So I work every day of the month once, 24 on, 3 days off. So it's just, I know when I'm working for the next 10 years. So.
Oh, okay. Ain't that great?
Yeah. Awesome. I keep the same schedule, but it rotates. I always work the same days, but it's on a 2-week flip. So, yeah, I have to look at it. But, I mean, CJ, like, Coach Kev is the one you need to talk to. I love to talk Flora, but Coach Kev is excellent with that case. So, y'all, don't work your schedule around me.
Oh, Silky. Every show's got to include you, Silky. Come on. You're the best.
I wish. I love your show, CJ, and I wish I could be on. I hop in a lot or catch your replays. Try to hop in chat when I can. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. You've grown so fast. It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just a great community. I'm not everybody's. I have to start, and I'm not everybody's cup of coffee. But it's a great community. It's a beautiful community, and it's a foundation that's solid. It's not one of these foundations that is kind of stuff thrown together and a storm can come and take it all away. This is a solid foundation, and it's definitely a community because it takes all of us to do this. And so, any kind of compliment towards me or the show is a compliment to them too. So I know they thank you, and I really thank you for the kind words. And you know, you're a great creator too, Silky. You know, I was telling everybody the other night, uh, you know, like when I started my show and we kind of started our channels around the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and how I reached out to you in the very beginning, and like you were one of my first panel members. And so you definitely helped me become what I am. And so I thank you for that, because your
Oh,
support from the very beginning has always meant a lot to me. And you've always been there no matter what. So you helped create what everybody gets to see this
oh,
evening and in the future. So thank you.
oh, that's so sweet, CJ. You've always, I'll always support you. You know, no matter what. Somebody said something the other day. It wasn't bad, but it was just, you know, something. It wasn't. No, it really wasn't bad.
No,
But I
I
was
mean
like,
hey, it's
well,
like this. You know what I mean?
well, you know,
It
I
is what it
guess
is.
I walked in on the drama fest the other day. So I had just done a video or said I'm done with drama. I'm not doing Delphi anymore. I'm out of the drama circle. And then you're like, hey, hop on panel. I'm like, sure. I'm not doing anything. And yeah, it was the drama. But no, that I think that's what this person was referring to. But I said, you know what? I love CJ, and I'll always support him. He's always supported me, no matter what. So there you go.
Oh, are you talking about when we like did a co-stream or dual stream or whatever where
It
you were
was you
streaming?
and me and Dago, uh,
Okay.
and we were talking about Dot.
Right. Okay.
You were CJ. You were on fire that morning. Like you're usually so chill, and it
Well,
tickles me. I love to see you get all excited, but I was like, whoa! I need more coffee for this.
well, when I get excited, it's because I'm pushed to a certain limit. I'm chill. I'm patient. I'll give you 150, but when I'm not getting the 100 back from the 150, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah,
And I always speak from the heart, so I know that I'll live life with no regrets as long as I speak from the heart and I'm about what's inside my soul no matter what. So um
absolutely.
uh but no, I was telling them about how we met, and it was this is Silky, everybody. If you haven't met her yet, this is Silky Southern Tea. And this is my first time meeting Coach Kev. So thank you both for taking time out of your evening to join us. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Like all day, I just couldn't stop thinking about this evening and having you guys on, and even talking about this case, because I'm definitely interested in hearing more. I have the PCA now. Thank you, Silky, for that. I appreciate that. So if at any moment you want me to go to that, I already have it ready. Just let me know.
Well, you
And
know,
then
Coach
I also
Kev.
have some videos too. So.
Oh, okay, good, good. I'm not sure on videos what you can and can't do. Like I know you got a strike once, and I'm like, I'm staying away from that.
No,
But
no, no,
Coach
no. I
Kev,
never gonna.
he tells this story great. Like we did the other night on the show, he did the profile, and then I was bringing up all of the seedy underbelly of the politics and corruption behind the scenes, and so which we were both talking about that, but I don't know how you want to start. I don't know if your listeners are real familiar with the Long Island serial killer. Oh, oh
Silky. Oh no, we got another Brian now. We had Brian last night. I don't know. I mean,
no,
I know my
oh
shows are long, but Brian was
no.
Oh,
hopping
I
up
was gonna
saying
do it
all
first.
sorts of.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't understand why you can watch the news on YouTube and they can say anything they want, but a creator can't. Uh, the list,
It,
Gilgo Beach, unalivings. There you go.
yeah, there you go. There you go. It's it's one of those things. It's the sponsorships. The quilted northern toilet paper. ShamWow, whatever, whatever. So
You're
it's
gonna have to
okay.
cut that part out, CJ.
It's okay. Like it's okay if that happens. Okay, it doesn't. There substances we gotta, we have to use
Yeah.
abbreviations or whatever. But I don't think we'll have that problem with this case. But okay, so I was kind of like looking at some stuff in the background before we hopped on tonight with this case, and was the first crime that he, I don't know, I guess more and more are coming out now, right? It's
Well, yeah. It started with. I'm gonna start it, and I'm gonna let Coach Kev go.
Yeah, go ahead.
It started with a missing person. Well, okay, it's Long Island. It's New York. If you've ever been there, you know how populated it is. I mean, are there going to be missing people? Are there going to be unalivings? Yes. And there were several missing people. But in, what, Coach Kev, wasn't it 2010? Shannon Gilbert, they get a 911 call off of the Gilgo Beach area in Suffolk County. And, it's like a 20-minute call, and they can tell there are other people with her, and she's knocking on doors, and she says, I'm in a house, I'm stuck in a house, and you
Yeah.
know and all this
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
stuff, and she's completely out of it. And you can hear people in the background, but she goes running off, and she has this long 20-minute 911 call, and then the line goes dead, and they don't have any clue who this woman is, where, what's going on. And so, of course, her family is looking for her. And then they just kind of happen upon a situation. And Coach Kev, you want to take it from here?
Yeah. So, if first of all, there's a good movie to watch. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Lost Girls. Uh, Sissy Spacek's in it. Gabriel Byrne. The movie itself is really good, but I think it's pretty accurate from what I know and from what they've released and from the other stuff we've been able to find out. So what they told you is they were doing a training thing or whatever. Well, I think what actually happened is canine officer stopped to let his dog out, and the dog went to run and do his business. And while he was doing his business, he started to alert. And what I mean by alert is a dog will bark in a certain way or a certain sequence to let his handler know whatever I'm trained to smell, I smell. And that was a cadaver dog. And as they're kind of going through there, that kind of launched everything off. Now they knew at the time that Shannon Gilbert went missing there. She made the 911 call that they sat on for about 10 years. And
Whoa. Okay. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, this is all crazy.
Because
Go ahead.
because I heard when I was wanting, shout out to Dago. Dago was covering this morning, and I've had this 911 call for a long time. I've been saving stuff ever since all this stuff came out for whenever I do have the show. But I didn't even hear it yet. The first time I heard it was on Dago's show today, and that's the phone call. Is this the phone call where the lady was like didn't know where she was at, kept saying someone's after me or to that effect?
Yes.
And then at some point she's like, Mike, what are you doing, or don't, or can you kind of give like a little from that point, where like somebody's like, I don't know if they were going to take her somewhere, or but I remember like I'm surprised she was able to say something, because to me it sounded like the people were right next to her when she was talking on the phone. No?
Yeah, they
Is
were right
that
there. It was Michael Pack was the driver that took her from home to meet the John. The John was Joseph Brewer. Everyone knows all these people's names, and they've been cleared by the old police regime, not the new one, as far as I know, but the old one cleared them.
what?
Yeah, the old one cleared them. Silky could get into this when she goes to town on these guys that were in there before it, because that's what they deserve. But so this call goes on for about 20 minutes. Michael Pack, Joseph Brewer. So Joseph Brewer supposedly is in the house with her. He goes and gets Michael Pack and says something's wrong with her. She's acting funny. On the phone, it seems like there's multiple people in the house. Not sure if she was on something. She had a substance history, so she could have been on something. She sounds a little lethargic, but she keeps saying they're trying to unalive me. You guys are trying to do this. And then Michael Pack comes in the house and she says, "Are you in on this? Are you in on this with me?" Which to me is creepy. And these guys are kind of laughing and passive about it. So I don't know if they don't know that she connected to 911 or if they just really want to get her out of the house. From there, she runs to a couple neighbors' houses, knocks on doors. One guy invites her in, but she's afraid to come in. Uh, she's seen running into these big giant, I don't know if you want to call them brambles, or they're, real big high grass, and it's like mud underneath, and it could be a couple inches thick. She runs into there, and they can't find her. This is their story. They never find her. Well, when they do find
Okay.
her, out of order, when they do find her, they said she drowned. But the second report said that was not the case, that she did not die naturally, is what the second coroner's report says. So if we get into that, so that was basically that Gilbert. And when the guy stopped there and his dog alerted, whether it was a training mission or whether the dog was relieving himself, he knew that area and that someone went missing there. And at that point, he shut it down. And that's when they started searching and finding people. So that's basically the link from the
So,
phone call to the investigation.
so how far apart were these two autopsies?
The family had the second one done. The first one came from that police regime that was in there. And remember,
Right.
the police chief and the district attorney went to prison. So I wouldn't have trusted anybody. I don't even know if they had workers in a corner or whatever, but there's a specific bone in your neck. And if you are,
Right.
if that's broken,
Choke.
yeah,
Right.
that means
Right.
that usually has happened. And that was the case
Right.
with her. And as we go on further, that's a link with Rex Huerman, in my opinion, as we get to that
Really? Okay.
as we
Okay.
get to
Yeah.
that point.
So, because I always wondered why, because whenever I was collecting stuff, I saw that 911 call, but I didn't see her name on the beach. Or did I?
No. Well, she
Because maybe I'm
she
confused, but
yeah, she was actually found in the marsh. And
Talk about the doctor, Silky.
oh, yeah. Well,
he's trying to
okay,
get her fired
Shannon.
up already.
Okay, yeah. Am I too loud? Jinxie said I was too loud
Oh, I
earlier.
turned you
it
down a little bit. Oh,
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
yeah. Is that good,
Shannon,
everybody? Go
is it
ahead.
okay? Okay,
I,
Shannon Gilbert was a escort, okay, a paid escort, and she Gilgo Beach area, just so you know, it's very remote. It's like, they have a lot of wealthy, people up in that area, or professional people. It's not somewhere that like a lot of public goes. It's not like a public beach where, tons of people hang out. Really, the only people that go up and down there are the residents, or police or whatever. So that, I
mm-hmm.
think, is important. But anyway, Shannon had a business call out to the this area, and she met with a doctor named Peter Hackett. He was her client, and she spent a couple of hours with him. And then I don't know what happened. Okay, I don't know if she was given a substance or if she had a mental break. I don't know what happened. But anyway, she started having a breakdown, and Peter Hackett wanted her out of the house. So, the driver is there trying to get her in the car, and she won't go in. Peter Hackett wants her out of his house. Now, at this point, his name hasn't come
okay.
up. So, he's just telling the driver, "Hey, get her out. Like, this is over. We're done. Whatever." And she doesn't even, and this driver is a friend of hers. Like, if you're an independent escort, you have to have some male protection, you know what I'm saying? So she kind of relied on her driver. Well, she wouldn't even get in the car with the driver, and he's saying, "Shannon," so this doctor the next day calls Shannon's house. Okay, he has apparently had her cell phone, called her home, like her mom's house. I think he spoke with her sister first. I could be wrong. And he says, "Hey, I'm Dr. Hackett. I have a house for wayward women, and Shannon was here, and is she okay? She's not here. She left. Okay. And they're like, what? Okay. I'm not even sure the sister knew at this point what Shannon did, but, they're like, who are you? Well, he stops talking. So when the police go, the mom and the family are like, hey, we got a call from Peter Hackett. We don't know who this guy is. And then he denies everything. The mom actually goes over, to his place, and she's like, hey, you were with my daughter. And he's like, no, I never, I don't. And so if you watch, a good movie, Coach Kev, is The Lost Girls. And if you'll watch, eventually, they find the other Gilgo Beach victims, and they still haven't found Shannon, and so Shannon, but she makes them go check the marsh because Shannon isn't right with the other one. She is in the marsh behind Peter Hackett's house when she is found.
What?
Yeah, but the police are like, oh no, he didn't have anything to do with it. Okay, she was an escort.
Money.
She spent hours with him. She is basically unalive in his backyard, but no, he's clear. He's clear. Of course he is.
Yeah. One thing is on the telephone call, and Mel mentioned it here. On the telephone call, they acknowledge Joseph Brewer's voice, not Hackett's voice. But I like Silky, and I don't want to speak for her, but I think she thinks the same thing. I 100% think that Peter Hackett was there that night. And when he called her mom, said he ran a home for wayward girls. He had to offer her a sedative because something was wrong or whatever. He called her again. He was interviewed by police and by the press and said he never called him. The phone company determined that was a lie. Then when getting interviewed, there's a video of this on YouTube. Then when getting interviewed, he faked a heart attack in front of the media. And the media didn't believe him. They just stood there and put their microphone down like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, that's my defibrillator. So you watch this guy for yourself. You watch him in the movie, and the movie doesn't do it justice to how creepy this guy is.
Really? So where can we see that video at? Because I want to see that video.
I would go to YouTube and maybe look up Dr. Peter Hackett, fake heart attack, maybe. It might be as simple as that. It might be as simple as that.
I'll check that out here in the background. And if you do have a link, go ahead and throw it in the private chat and I'll click on there. I have a question. Obviously the first toxicology, or did they do a toxicology?
When they eventually did find Shannon Gilbert, they said there was nothing, no substances in her. But my question is, with the deterioration of the body,
right?
Forensic, can they still pull stuff?
Right.
After persons, the remains aren't even like they're mummified. I don't know.
How long was it? How long had it been from when the crime took place until when that?
Man, Gilbert would have been what?
Gilbert
wasn't as long as the other one.
You can hear her running in the marshy swamp area.
Are
you serious?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I didn't hear the whole thing. I just heard until she was like telling Mike.
When the police said they weren't going to release the 911 tape, and they didn't for a number of years, they said she was having a normal conversation. Well, till the attorney for her family says, "What?" The mom heard it. She's screaming on there. So they also lied about that too. So are they covered for this Hackett? Is it possible? The old regime? It's absolutely possible.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, for sure. So never mind about the toxicology.
And I'm a pro police person. My brother's a attorney general agent, and I work with cops all the time. But this here, when we get into it, it's so bad. But it's so good because the good guys come in at the end, and they start getting crap done immediately. So at least we got that going for us.
Yeah.
Right.
But now they haven't necessarily said that Shannon Gilbert is part of the list of Rex Heuermann's victims. I mean, it was Shannon's disappearance that led them to Gilgo Beach, and when they were, out there supposedly looking for Shannon, but probably it was the dog having to, do his business. They found these bodies and they ended up with 4. And then there are some others that were further on up. You had another woman who was found in like a cooler type thing. They have named her Peaches. They have no idea who she was. She has a peach tattoo. And there was a toddler that belonged to Peaches. Like they're saying, like around 3, 4-ish years
Oh,
old.
wow.
And also an Asian male who was dressed as a female. I guess he was, I don't know if he was completely transgender or, but they found all these bodies, and then they start looking back and they're like, well, come to think of it, we've got some other ones here from 1996. Maybe that has something to do with it. All that they have charged Hewerman with is the Gilgo Beach victims, because when they found them, they were wrapped in a camouflage burlap, and like you would kind of use for duck hunting type of thing, and they were wrapped the same way. They were pretty much like a little
signature
garden. Yeah.
Right.
And so you had all of these bodies, but then these other ones are like the one in the cooler, like Peaches, like the Asian male, and of course Shannon, we don't know, but none of those were wrapped. So the question is was that Rex Hewerman? Was that someone else? Did he change his MO? There's a lot.
And also, when I first heard about this case, I'm like, that is probably just one of many different locations, because with the amount that was found there, I don't see somebody going to the same location only every single time, because then you're going to get caught. I would see somebody going to multiple locations, so it's on some kind of rotation, so then they're not causing too many suspicions. Has there been any other links? I know there's a lot of stuff popping up the last couple days. Have you guys heard of any links popping up in different spots where other victims were wrapped in the same way or anything like that? Or has it been at just this location, and who knows? I know they did some searches down in, he had property down south somewhere, South Carolina.
South Carolina, Las Vegas, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
I believe
Okay.
other locations in New York.
Oh, wow.
There's a retired New York City detective that he's begging him to. There's woods, a strip of woods near his house, even closer to where the bodies were found, and he's begging him to search there also. So, and he's charged with 3 right now. But I truly believe that the Marine Brainerd Barnes will be the next one charged. She was found 500 feet away from one of the other victims, and she was her method of going out was being choked. A lot of these other ones were different. The Asian male, it was a blunt force sting to the head. So maybe that situation was someone didn't get what they were expecting to get, got mad, went crazy, and did that. That's only a guess. And we could confirm that the toddler there was no signs of trauma to the toddler. So if you really think into that, that's very sad. More than likely the way that toddler, it had no signs of trauma. So the thought process is he just left it there. And that was Peaches. Wow. They were correct. That was Peaches' daughter. Wow. They were able to prove that through the DNA.
Wow. Also, they're talking about this week, they had, as far as Peaches is concerned, they're looking into getting some information from Mobile, Alabama, because they think that Peaches might have been from here.
There's actually people reporting today that they have identified everyone else, and there's going to be a press conference in a week to 2 weeks or something like that. I know the mob, Chris from the mob, was saying that, and multiple other people behind the scenes said, similar to Karen Vergata, who they just identified or publicly, they identified her in October of last year. They had to find family. Some of these people aren't even reported missing. Their families kind of given up on them. And you know what? Nobody at 8 years old sits on their beds and says, I want to grow up to be addicted to a substance that I have to sell my body for. Nobody
Mhm.
had that's
Right.
nobody's plan. So these
Right.
people are people, so they shouldn't be treated as all they're this work or that work. Like maybe that was the way the police were thinking, and other people think, but
Mm,
but I think they've identified them. I'm pretty sure of that, and there's places that are reporting that, news agencies too, behind the scenes. And within a couple of weeks, we'll find out who those were. Peaches, her baby, and yes, Mobile, Alabama. They were putting things out on social media down there, and they had tracked it through familiar DNA. I believe it's what it was. They went and tracked and says, okay, we have people from the state of Alabama. Did she move up here? Or something like that. So
Mhm.
at least the families could have some kind of closure.
right.
Right.
Something.
Right.
Wow.
And the thing is, like Coach was saying, we can't judge people on their type of work. But, as for Marie Brainerd Barnes, her family, I saw an interview with her sister that said, she knew she was trying so hard to get a job that she could support herself. And, she showed this long list of places that she had tried. She could just not find work. To get her out of her situation. And so I believe she had children too, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, she ended up doing that as a side hustle because, you know, I guess she thought, what are you going to do? Uh, Certainly was not, I mean, as far as the rest of them in the victimology, she was, as far as we know, not addicted to any substances necessarily. She was just in that line of work, unfortunately, to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so when it comes to his wife, Rex's wife, what's the story with her? Like, was I heard that it was always when she was out of town. I've heard things like she knew about this stuff. Do you
I
guys
don't
know
believe she
anything?
knew. I don't believe she knew about anything. And the original profile that came out, I don't know if you guys have heard of Jim Clemente. If you've ever watched my channel, I talk about him more than I talk about Jim Harbaugh, who I love from Michigan. I hope that doesn't make people not like me. It might. But so he said in 2011 multiple things. John Kelly also said this guy's going to be financially stable, good education, married or has a wife. Uh, all kind of everything kind of hit. So he's they lay it all out there and they tell you about it, and then you see him and he's socially awkward. Not to get off the point, of he's socially like awkward. So the Craigslist thing works for him, or the Tinder thing worked for him. If you go back, Joel Rifkin, who was the original Long Island serial killer, he had to go pick up guys on the street. Gary Ridgway, Green River Killer, had to go pick up guys on the street. He was doing all this remotely, so he had this. It's called cubing, different faces. He had a face for work, a face at home, but I don't think his wife knew anything. They were using food stamps at the grocery store. His house was dilapidated, yet he had a high-end car, which they also predicted. He had money to
So,
these
uh,
trysts, so it appeared he didn't do anything for his family at all.
so okay, so he had a lot of flashy things, but was living off the government. So how did he?
Yeah,
So
but
what? When he was at home, he played like
I don't know. I don't know.
that. That's weird.
Now
That's
he
weird.
has a special needs son, and my girlfriend is in that line of work. And
Okay.
here in Pennsylvania, anything you get is like a state card. If you get food stamps, if you get child support, it's all on the same card. So what the grocery store worker might have said was they used this card. He could have, because he's an adult and he gets a check because he's disabled. He can't work, so they give some money to help buy groceries, or whatever. But I didn't even answer your last question. Yes, when she was away in the summer visiting family in Iceland or out of state is when all this happened. The three girls that they're charged with, and the other girl that I believe they're going to be charged with, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, they were able to prove that she was either Iceland, where she was born, or Maryland or in other states. And they also predicted that in 2011, this was a seasonal series guy. He was doing it seasonally. And Jim Clemente even said maybe his wife goes on vacation, maybe his family goes on vacation. They said that in 2011.
Wow. So just every time she was gone is when, and
They,
then
yeah.
he never did it while she was home. It was always while she
Well,
was home.
he might have, because here's the thing: people don't start at
Okay.
age 45 doing this. I'm sure
Right.
people know that,
Exactly.
right? So
Right.
there's precursory crimes. So in his record, was he a peeping tom? Burglary, breaking and entering is a crime that leads you down a wrong path. Some Richard Ramirez did that. They'd steal
Yeah.
personal effects, earrings, things
Mhm.
like, not like things you would think of. Driver's licenses. They'd watch people sleep. Was he doing any of that? Was it leading up to this? Or if he started on average, he would have 20 more years of doing what he did that we don't know about. Because if he
Right.
started at 26, so there's 20 years before that. I don't know. I just can't think this is all it is. But I don't think a lot of these girls that we're seeing are his, because it's so different. They're in
Okay.
plastic, they're in suitcases. There's a different method of unaliving them. One from choking to weapons and dismemberment and stuff like that. And it's, I don't know, but could they change that much? Or could it be just the worst place on earth? And these guys just go there and think that we could just throw people away like trash, and this is the place to do it. That
Hmm.
it seems that that's almost impossible. But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, goodness gracious, I don't know.
So if it is multiple people that committed those crimes against those victims there at the beach, what is it, if they're not in some kind of a network or something? What is it about this beach, besides it's not a beach that you would, pop an umbrella on and get a chair out and sit down and get a suntan? What is it about this beach that would make other people be like, "Ooh, that seems like a decent spot"?
Personally, for Huerman, and I guess this, I don't know this for a fact. And
Right.
when you talk about the camouflage burlap sacks, I'm going to say he went duck hunting there with his dad. I think a lot of this is about his dad, like criminology profiling speaking. I'm a very amateur at this. When his dad passed away when he was 11, mom was mom over domineering to him and his brother. What made them like this? I think that was a big thing, and I think in some way he's doing this for, to somehow, hey dad, look, I can do this. I think he personally has many more victims personally, but I don't think
Mhm.
all the victims that we know about are his. Let me say it that way. But at the end of the
I
day,
agree.
they're so different the way that they're left.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the burlap's important to him. So anything with burlap, that's going to be him. But he might not. He might have been going somewhere else. That place is dark, and it's only really known to people there. And even when you get to where they are, it's like gated. So I don't know, but I think that maybe there's people in the neighborhood. They know they're bringing these working girls out, these rich suburban guys when their wives are away. Maybe things are getting out of hand, like I think happened to Shannon Gilbert. That's my personal opinion. And then they're throwing them away like trash, the same as the series guy. Except these guys are rich, white collar Wall Street people, but they're doing the same thing as the guy that's in prison. And but
Mm.
they wouldn't. I don't think they would be chopping and stuff like that. They would try to get them out and just be rid of them. And I also think Rex Huerman was using a boat. I think he was using a boat
Hmm.
to get rid
Really?
of these two. Yes, because there's canals, and I can't prove it, and I don't have any proof of it, but I've seen enough hinting around. And I think somehow he was using one of his boats to go around. And again, I think he duck hunted there with his dad. That's a prediction of my own that I'm coming up with. But I saw someone, I think it was Mel in the chat. I agree. I think he has many more. And Joel Rifkin dumped his in threes. He had different
Mm-hmm.
areas, three here, three there. So I don't know what's going to come of this. I just hope all the
Hmm.
bodies are at least identified, that people know, and maybe they arrest a bunch of these guys from the neighborhood. Like Silky, I can't get past that doctor. He ain't right. You don't fake a heart,
Right.
right?
So that 911 call was at the doctor's house, and was there more than, so on that 911
The
call, was there
911
more
call
than two
was
people in the
Brewer's house.
background?
That was actually Brewer's house. I'm speculating that the doctor was there. I think that there was more voices on there than Pack and Brewer, but only Pack and Brewer are identified. I think there's other people there, because why would the doctor call her mom the next day? How would he have her mom's number? Why would he call her and tell her he runs a home for wayward girls the next day? Unless he
Yeah.
was at that place.
Oh,
Or
okay.
somebody
So
told
she
him.
And
wasn't with
then,
Hackett. She was with
Well,
Brewer.
we don't know that for sure. She was with
Okay.
Joseph Brewer, but I speculate that Hackett was in that house, and then Hackett
Yeah.
administered whatever he administered, or why would he call the mom the next day? I just speculate that. But you guys
So
watch the videos for yourself, and you tell me what you think of this guy, because
what does Brewer? So what does Brewer have to do with Hackett? Or what's so Hackett's a doctor? What's
they're just rich neighbors. I'm not sure what Brewer does for a living, but he's out. It's like fair. It's called Fairway 9 Fairway. Like the road's called Fairway. They're just neighbors, and they're probably
Rich
partying, but rich partying buddies out in
rich
the suburbs.
buddies? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you had mentioned that Peter Hackett had called the mother and said that he gave her a sedative.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
told her that he had to give her a sedative. And yeah, Mel, you're right. Peter Hackett did not run home for wayward girls like he told her
No.
mom.
No, he did not. He
Yeah,
was
he-
probably the what was it? The entertainer of wayward girls.
Yeah, and he called her twice. He called her house twice and denied it.
Mhm.
And then they proved that he did it. And he never became a suspect from the police at that. Like, first of all, how would you even know that she was missing? Her mom didn't know she was missing. Her sister
Mhm.
didn't know till you called her. You had knowledge of the crime before anyone else did, and you called. And you run a home for wayward girls. You injected her with something. You're sorry. Then you called a couple, like, and they didn't.
Was
they
that
didn't-
just an excuse in case she was found with that chemical in her body?
Or maybe if she was found alive, CJ, that's a good point. That's I never thought about the chemical thing, but maybe that, or maybe if he was found alive and she said, "Oh, I was with Doctor whatever,
Yeah,
or whatever he was called."
yeah,
Good point. I didn't think of that.
yeah. It was kind of like just a little blanket out there in case something did happen. Hey, yeah, that she was found, but yes, she came
But if
to
you
that.
don't
And I
have her,
told the mom that. Yeah,
if you don't have her phone, how do you have her mom's number?
Exactly.
He was contacting her on a different number. So, like, it's. But again, I hope that the police now. I like the guy they got, Harrison, the chief, Tierney, the DA. I think they're good. They got this case in 2 months rolling. They knew he's a 6'7" ogre driving a first generation green Chevy Avalanche. So green, the color green on Chevy Avalanches weren't like one of the common, I guess. They were like the up a package or whatever. But a hulking ogre driving a green Chevy Avalanche, there's a lot of people in Suffolk County, but once they reviewed the tip, they found him in like 10 minutes. They're like, this guy looks like an ogre. And they're like, I'd say that's what an ogre looks like. That was the description given by one of the witnesses. Seeing him
Right.
get in the car with one of the girls that were found.
Yeah, so let me
Wow.
back that up because okay, we're talking about Shannon is over here with, the Hackett situation. But
Yeah.
they identified that avalanche from Amber Costello. Now she was one that had gone missing and presumed unalive. But what had happened is that Amber and okay, she was an escort, and this is what she did for a living. She was in that, she was an addict. I guess at this point kind of relapsed, and so she was doing what she was doing. And she had made a date with Hewerman. Of course, they didn't know his name at the time. But what happened is when he came, to her house, she had her roommates, she had 2 male roommates, to come and storm in and, act like the husband or whatever, shocked and astonished. And then, that his wife was doing this. And so they, Hewerman left. Well, it was all a ruse. So she had gotten paid, because you get paid as an escort before you do anything else. And not that I know for fact. That's what I hear. So sounds like I really know what I'm talking about here.
Well, I mean, you do your research, Loki. You do your
Anyway,
research.
so she had gotten paid. Okay, Hewerman has to leave. Well, he kept calling her the next day, obviously because it was quite, she was making good money, let's just put it that way. And so finally, after several calls and he wasn't going away, she agreed to fulfill her end of the bargain. So he came over he had parked just a few doors down or a block away. She had left her cell phone in her house and she was going to meet him. And she told her roommates at the time, she's like, they're like, "You're not taking your phone." She said, "No, I'm not going to need it." So they had seen the car that was there the day before. That's where that green avalanche came in, because they saw Huerman. They knew she was going out with him the next night because they had really did a number on him and he wasn't taking it kindly. He demanded services. When he came back the next night, Amber Costello disappears and nobody ever sees her again until they find her on Gilgo Beach. But her roommates were able to give that description, like Coach Kev was saying.
Wow. Okay. So I saw a headline that as I was going through stuff, it said how a pimp solved the Long Island SK crimes. What does that mean?
That's basically the story. I think they're calling him a pimp, right, Silky?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he was actually a pimp, but they were her protection, so to speak, because they lived with her.
So he's the one that just gave the tip,
Mm-hmm.
and okay.
He gave the tip,
that led
2010,
to all of it.
2000, whatever it was. He gave the tip many, many years ago. They just never did nothing with it till the new regime came.
Wow. So this old regime, have you looked into it much?
Yeah.
A little bit. So is the FBI.
Yeah. That's where, yeah. Okay. You want to get ready for a wild ride? Yeah. Let's start back in.
Get my seatbelt on.
Yeah. The corruption in this one is mind-boggling. Okay, well, let's start back in the 80s with a unaliving of a either 13 or 14-year-old kid named John Pius. Now, he was a neighborhood kid. It was brutally, possibly accidentally, but it was still brutal. It was, anyway. This happened, and during this time, there was a 14-year-old boy named James Burke, who became the star witness in that case. Now, this was when Thomas Spota, he was working for the prosecutor's office, and he was actually prosecuting this case. They charged it's either 3 or 4 youths about the same age, close to the same age as John Pius. Burke is the star witness. Okay, you said that's great. He and the prosecution became good friends, obviously, working on this case together. However, the problem with Jim Burke is, even though he was 14, he was already a thug. He was dealing in substances. He was breaking and entering houses, cars, whatever. He was bad news, basically. So, I mean, how much his testimony was actually worth, I don't know. I think that's been called into question because at that time, once he got to be friends with Spota, he was basically saying, hey, you know what? I want to be a cop because I can break the law and get away with it. I mean, that was his goal, okay? So, anyway, in a few years later, fast forward to 1991, James Burke finally, he's 21, he's 21 years old. He joins the police force. Now, he and Spota are still like this. They've become fast friends. Have to ask yourself why.
Why,
but,
right.
Within the first 2 years of Jim Burke being on the police force, he was caught twice having adult relations with an escort in his police car, okay, and investigated by Internal Affairs. But did he lose his job? No, he did not, because his buddy, Thomas Spota, was the prosecutor now. Like, he was the DA. Or if he wasn't, he was way up there, and he eventually did become the DA. As a matter of fact...
Is this in a small community or like Long Island?
This is in Suffolk County, Long Island.
The 11th biggest police force in the country. That's how big
it sounds like shit from Florida. Which is like this.
It is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to ask.
Okay, like For instance,
Wow.
there was, and I know
Wow.
that I love this part of the story. I mean, I love to tell it. So
Okay.
one day, Burke is at a restaurant with one of his lady friends who was a known escort, but she was also like she was a dealer. She had been charged with larceny. Like her rap sheet was long, okay. But they're sitting in a restaurant one night. Burke says something, she doesn't like it. She says, "Hey, I need to go to the car," and they were in his vehicle, and he's like, "Okay." He gives her the keys. She gets in the car, drives to her house, leaves him sitting in the restaurant. That's his police car. His weapon is in there, all of the police paraphernalia. He has to call his police buddies and say, "Hey, she took my car." And they went and got him and took him back to her house where he, recovered his stuff. Now, twice he lost his service revolver or gun, whatever kind it was.
What?
Yeah, but
Okay.
yet still, it's just like, shame, you shouldn't do that. Um, in his career, Burke was really known for being, oh, I've got a lot of light on me right now. Burke was really known for a lot of crimes, okay? He was a frequent visitor of gambling institutions, places of ill repute. He kind of did it all, okay? And everybody, it said that if he liked you, and you were golden, and if he didn't, it was bad. It was going to be bad. So, he continues this whatever. So back in 2010, when Shannon goes missing, and then in, I think it was 2011, no, 2010 is when they found the Gilgo 3. Well, all of a sudden, Burke is there. He is now, at this point, he is the lead detective, or for the prosecution. Okay, so he's not the police chief, but he's the lead investigator of the police force. And of course, for the prosecution. So again, guess who's the prosecutor, the DA? It's Spoda. Well, you've got these two, they're like running their own crime games, okay? They got stuff going on. There is a book on Amazon called Jimmy the King that details all of his nefarious activities. And so they've got their whole little crime circle going. So how much are they really trying to do except pad their pockets? I don't know. So, first of all, when you find that you have an SK in that area, you want to call in the FBI. You want to call in as many people as you can, agencies or whatever, to, help solve this case, right? Well, no. Because Burke and Spoda did not want people in their little space because they were going to out them, they would find out things that they didn't want people to know. If they were roughing people up, all their con games, all their crimes. So they said, oh no, Suffolk County, we can handle this all by ourselves. We don't need the FBI. So basically, for years, he had already been in crime. When he's a police chief, and it still went on because he became the chief of police in January of 2012. But by December 2012, he had lost his job because of an incident with someone named Christopher Loeb. Now, I'm going to before I finish with Spoda and Burke, I want Coach Kev to tell the story of Christopher Loeb.
Okay, Christopher Loeb. Well, real quick, someone asked me a question in there.
Yeah.
If Rex is guilty, I would say right around 1995. Between 1990 and 2000, you're looking at like usually 26. Although now the profiler guys are saying it might skew younger, 22, 23. But usually the series people usually start 25 or 26. So you could do the math. But so Chris Loeb is a guy, and Silky can tell you exactly how he gets his hands on a duffel bag. But he gets a duffel bag that was in a police car that was driven by Jimmy the Gent or Jimmy Burke. Not to be confused with the Goodfellow character.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's what I first.
He's more of a straight shooter than this guy was, to be honest with you. He had more of a code, if you will. So he
Right.
steals this bag out of this car, and I'm assuming it's an unmarked car. He doesn't know it's a police car, and in this bag is all kind of things for, I don't even know the term you can use, adult toys, women's clothing, women's shoes that are size men's, whatever, many different things, and a DVD. Allegedly, a DVD is in there. So basically, we could turn it back to Silky to lead up to then maybe what happened, or do you want me to tell about what they were doing to him to try to find out where the DVD was at?
Well, I mean, all I was gonna say is, Christopher Loeb, he didn't know. He was an addict just looking to break into cars
Yeah, he was
when
just
he
stealing.
happened to break into a white SUV that was by Burke. And what happened is, instead of, okay, now think about this. So it doesn't matter. You're the chief of police. Somebody breaks into your car, even if you think who did it, you have to get a search warrant, right? Still have to go through
Yeah.
protocol.
Right.
No, he takes some of his guys and they just go to Christopher Loeb's house, burst in the door and start just going through his stuff, getting whatever they want, taking the bag back. There's no legal
It
process
sounds
to
like
this
the
at all.
movie Training Day, where
Yeah.
where Denzel just walks in and does whatever the hell he wants. Huh.
Yeah, well, that was Jim
Okay.
Burke. Yeah.
So
that
it
Jim
was
Burke.
nothing but constant intimidation and twisting and manipulating facts to fit narratives so they could basically do whatever they want and skate free.
Then
Yeah.
they get this guy to the station. Then he's moved from one room to another room. It doesn't have a camera, and basically, from what I can understand, he's kind of like tied up, almost like arms and limbs. And Burke wants to know this DVD, and so allegedly he makes the comment. This is what he's saying. He makes the comment, "Oh, I watched your DVD, and it was an unaliving film, if you will, is what this guy
Right.
says on the police chief's DVD that he has." And then Burke just
Wow.
pounding him. And later on, he's able to prove this beating and this police station thing because some of the underlying cops give him up. And the police chief, Burke, goes to prison over this. Not long enough.
Really?
Yeah. The district attorney goes to prison too.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. I think the district attorney's still locked up, isn't he?
No, I don't think he
out
is.
too?
But he was disbarred in 2016. But now Burke only got 40, I think it was 46 months or
Yeah,
something.
not a lot.
No, he's out. And I mean, that the way that they treated Loeb was just horrendous. But then, you have to think, okay, so you've had this long history since at least the 80s or 90s of corruption going on at Suffolk County, and it just flourishes under Burke and Spoda. So just because they're arrested or these allegations come at the end of 2012, you have to get through the process. So I'm sure that things probably didn't change a whole lot. I mean, they probably did some, people are watching their backs, but I don't think, in my opinion, there was a true turnaround until both of them got sentenced. Again, Spoda got disbarred in 2016, and they both faced prison time. So now, forward to 2022. Finally, okay, 6 years after Spoda gets disbarred, and hopefully somebody's trying to clean up the mess they have made in Suffolk County for all these years. In January 2022, Rodney Harrison becomes the police commissioner. Okay, now his mission is to, we've got these Gilgo Beach unalivings that have been hanging around for over 10 years now, and nobody's done anything. We've kept people out. We're going to try to solve this case. So he brings in the FBI. He brings in major task forces. Anybody that he can get together who can get information on this. January. By February, 30 days, okay? February of 2022, they already have their eyeballs on Rex Heuermann.
Whoa, say that again one more time, please.
Okay, Rodney Harrison takes the case in January 2022, brings in the
Right.
FBI. By February of 2022, 1 month later, they
Okay.
already see Rex Heuermann as their prime suspect.
What?
30 days. 30 days, but we've got over 10 years of ridiculousness because of the shenanigans of James Burke and Thomas Boda. And here's my question. If you were doing all that, what else were you doing? I mean, do you have a body count? Like, I don't get the impression that either one of those two were SKs, but what if there were just people that they needed to go away? What if some of those bodies are just people that they needed to disappear? I mean, you don't know.
Oh, you're right.
Another theory
Yeah,
that maybe they
right,
could dump
okay.
there too, and maybe it'll be lumped in
Right.
with this other thing. And Burke was known to have a habit, that involves sniffling a lot, and he'd admitted that, and he's been at these parties with these people. We know that Burke has been at these parties with these working girls. He wasn't a police commissioner or police chief. He was a vice guy. Like, I don't even mean like as a cop. Like, he lived in these clubs. He spent all his time with these. He was obsessed with, the whole pornography industry, or however do you want to say, adult entertainment industry.
Right.
All of it.
Mhm.
He was obsessed with all of it, and obsessed with drugs and booze. And they let him get. They shouldn't even have made him the chief. He should have been demoted or fired before he even got to that point. But yeah.
Yeah,
A month.
it's a
month.
house of
you're on
cards.
any
They
month.
gotta, yeah, they gotta protect each other at that point,
Yeah.
because then they all fall down.
It's so bad, but it's so bad at the beginning, and then these guys come in at the end. So it's the worst, and it's the best of police work.
Right.
So everyone
Yeah.
can look at this. If you're anti-police or pro-police, you could get us on a side of this and say, "Look, here we go." But at the end of the day, at least we're trending forward. Harrison's a great guy.
Right.
You
Yeah.
better hope Harrison don't want to run for governor in New York or something, because that guy will win. I'll tell you right now.
Right. What did he ever like say what made him, like kind of jumpstart all of that to get it going? Did he say where he was coming from? Did he have a
The new DA Tierney, someone went to him, and he was big on it, and he and Harrison, like, together, just, I don't know if someone talked to them, if it was old police or family members or something like that, but someone lit a fire, and those two kind of together just launched this thing. And then one of the big things was the FBI coming back, and a lot of those guys had to retire. The cops that got in trouble, you didn't hear they got in trouble, but they took their pension, right? You got to take your pension right now. And then as some of the old dogs that were in there retired, by the time 2020 hits or 2022 hits, now we're in business with these guys. And I think that that's what happened. That's why it took so long, from the horrible to the good.
Maybe could it have been informants as well? Like, kind of had a lot of knowledge of the area and what was going on, and maybe the informants couldn't talk because of the previous regime.
Sorry.
When it came to that, because it seems crazy to me. Like, that's crazy quick. You take over and you jumpstart that thing, and within a month you have Rex. I mean, that's a lot of progress
That's
in
why
a
when
very
people-
short period of time.
And people say, was Burke involved? I get where they're coming from, because it almost looks like he's trying to cover up. I personally think he's a scumbag of the first order, but I don't think he was involved in any of the series stuff. But like Silky said, if they thought someone needed to go away, I don't think it was past that for them to do that, though. Absolutely.
Of course not. Of course not.
I think the main thing with him is, they didn't want,
maybe they found out from the informants, and that's why they never did nothing, because they were like, hell, we got all these informants telling us that they're getting stuff, so we definitely could see that happening.
And I think, because they didn't really want to cover this, they didn't want it to be exposed, because it would, you'd have too many eyes on their actions. There could have been a lot of evidence that came in through the years that was in that file, that nobody was really looking at until Harrison came in. However, as soon as they started looking at it, like we were talking about, they already had the vehicle. They already had that green Avalanche that they knew about years ago. And, so it wasn't hard with technology. They knew he was using burner phones. I mean, this could have been
A lot of
solved.
them, right?
Yeah,
A
Yeah.
lot of them, right?
yeah. And that's my problem with this, because at the end of the day, and I know they're never going to get charged with this, but at the end of the day, I think somebody should be held accountable for stalling this investigation, because how many more lives were lost while y'all were out there, ripping and running and committing crimes, and you've got a badge on. And
Mm-hmm.
not that you're doing those crimes, but you are absolutely stopping this from being solved. So we have other potential victims. I mean, we're talking about 10 years here,
Yeah.
over 10
Yeah,
years.
you're enabling
Yeah.
those things to take place by
And
the activity.
the longer you go, the better you get at this. So maybe he found a better way to hide them. Now, on occasion, the series people will age out. But when they age out, what we see is Gary D'Angelo, 70 years old, 65. So there's nothing to say that Hewerman hasn't been active from 2010 till now, even up till recently. I even theorized, what if we find out, and this is just a guess, that he was actively still contacting girls, and that's why the police jumped on him. They maybe wanted to wait a little bit longer, but they says, no, we have to do this now because he's going to go meet with this girl. That's a guess
Yes.
that I
No.
have.
Was his wife going out of town when they
She
nabbed
usually
him?
goes away in the summertime. She goes to Iceland in the summers. So
Oh,
yeah,
for the
July.
summer.
Yeah, that's when she would go.
Oh,
Not for the whole
dang. Here,
summer.
I'm thinking it's like a weekend trip kind of
Oh,
thing
no,
here and
no.
there. This is
She
for
was
a whole
born.
summer?
Well,
No.
maybe not for the whole summer, but she's going to Iceland. That's where she was born. She was raised
Okay.
here. So they're going to Iceland. So you're going to stay in Iceland for at least a couple weeks, right? You're going back up. You're
Right.
going to go
Okay.
there
Yeah,
for 2
yeah.
days to Iceland.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, Coach Kev, I have read that from, I think it's one of, whoever is the spokesman, I cannot think of his name. It escapes me, but
The
the
family
one that's,
attorney for Hewerman, I heard him today
no,
for his family. They have an attorney. I saw him today.
the one that first broke it, anyway, I've seen it both, I've heard it and I've seen it in writing several times, that is the reason that they decided to arrest Hewerman now.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they felt like he was gonna they were watching him and they felt like there was gonna be another victim.
Well, I
That's
tell you
right.
what, I guarantee you he's been going for the last 10 years then. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
If he's still doing it, I guarantee it. And real quick, this is something people don't know, and this is kind of will blow your mind too. So the attorney for Shannon Gilbert's family, and Silky, you could tell the story later on, the tragic story with her mom, but he's still there representing Shannon Gilbert and one of the other victims. He says at some point during all this going on, his name's John. I'm pretty sure it's John Ray. He's the guy with the ponytail. He wears like the Kangol hat.
Oh yeah.
Beard. So he was receiving phone calls, harassing phone calls. When his daughter went to college, she was at a different state. Someone was saying that she's looking out a window taking a picture. Like they had eyes on her. Then they called his ex-wife and told her the same thing. They checked with the daughter. She was just taking a selfie. A short time later, they called his home at 9:00 at night, and they said, "Hey, you getting ready to eat dinner?" And he lives in a house. The windows were open. He said someone had to see him. He said, "Enjoy the pizza. I like pizza. Enjoy the pizza." He said a few seconds later, the doorbell rang, and Domino's showed up with 3 pizzas they didn't order. Now, he reported this to police. He couldn't say it was Hewerman's voice. But if we know that Hewerman's reaching out to victims' families on multiple occasions and telling them, "I'm going to watch your sister rot," is what he told her, he can see them from his deck. That's him. To me, that's him. To me, that's him.
Yeah.
And Ray won't say it, but I speculate this. When Hewerman's found guilty, he'll be like Ed Kemper. You won't be able to get him to shut the F up. He'll just be like,
Yeah.
Really?
and I think he'll tell you, "Yeah, I called that attorney." Did you know that he stared at reporters on the way out of court? Multiple reporters. He walked past each of them and stared at him and tried to like Hulk over them a little bit, even though he was cuffed. So yeah, he's in full nutcase mode, in my opinion, or not even a nutcase because he isn't crazy, but I think you're going to see the more information that comes out, he's going to be a guy that won't talk. But you can find that out if you look up attorney John Ray. Actually, I might have shared it on my page. If I don't, I'll do it tonight because a lot of people haven't heard that story, and I was surprised. But isn't that that's nuts, right? That's crazy.
That
Yes.
is.
Yes,
So-
it is.
And so I mean that's freaking nuts to like taunt, because I had seen somebody typed in a comment about it, and I was gonna ask about that, and I'm glad you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's way more than I thought even took place.
He
Like he
called the
would
family
literally,
multiple times. It was actually
Yeah.
Melissa Bartholomew's sister Amber, and he told her he'd watch her rot and asked her if you were a W word like your sister was. So yes, sadistic. So that tells us immediately what he's all about. Sadistic people can't achieve what they want to achieve in an adult way, if you know what I mean, unless they're
right?
inflicting pain on someone else. And that's something that starts at a young age where you associate
What the
uh,
hell?
violence and making love, or you know what I mean. You associate that at a young,
Right?
so
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
know
yeah.
he's sadistic doing that, and that's a risk to do that. But he'd make the call
Right,
to Madison Square Garden, which is one of the most populated places on earth. Right? There's so many
yeah.
people there, but it's also right down the street from his office. All these calls were made from like standing outside, and you're not
Mm-hmm.
coming down on how many people are in 3 or 4 blocks in New York City. You're
A
coming in
Right,
lot.
1,000,
A lot.
and it's
right.
so yeah.
So did he have a burner phone for each victim,
I think
or
so.
was it? Yeah.
I think he did because I think they found
Yeah.
3. Right? He kept them.
Yeah, I think that was it, that he changed, because I mean he thought he was being smart by using the burner phones and stuff,
Yeah.
but I mean he didn't. I guess he didn't know how far technology has come. Um, I've heard some things that I didn't know just in the past few months about. I don't know. It has to do with another case, so maybe I shouldn't say it. But anyway, suffice to say, they know a lot more than you think they do.
Mel asked a question about her search history, and you could look that up in the PCA. I don't even think you want to put it on your screen because it's really bad. I think that he's so
The
arrogant.
PCA is.
Yeah, but they have
Oh
his search
wow.
history. There's some real bad stuff in there. But Mel asked
Really?
about that.
Okay.
So I think that he was so smart that he got it accomplished. He could take out any of these girls he wanted to and throw them away like trash. The police weren't going to catch him. He's looking for a better high, right? I need a
Mm-hmm.
better high. I need more kink in my life. So when you look at that search history, to me, it's like a dissension into madness, kind of, because he's looking for, somewhat normal, maybe fetish, but somewhat normal, and then it gets right to the bad stuff, and you can see it descending down. So maybe he
Yes.
was looking into children. Maybe this people usually don't change what they're doing, but the history's the history. So he was clearly actively looking for it. He was looking for women that were abused. They took a painting out of his house with a woman with a black and blue mark on her face. A painting from his house. We know about that. We know about the doll they took from his house in that case, in a wooden coffin, what I call like a Mexican coffin. We used to call them a
What?
coffin.
Yeah.
A
I think they had
doll in a coffin?
yeah, you didn't know. There's video of that.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
What?
vault. Tell him about the vault.
So the vault downstairs, they initially said it was a soundproof room, and it's not a soundproof room. It's a vault, but it could be soundproof. So like a big bank vault with the big bank door that
Yeah,
swings
yeah,
open, and like you
yeah,
spin the wheel like on the Price is Right game or
yeah.
whatever. He had one of them in his house, and he had about 300 guns in there, and no one was allowed in there. Nobody. He was friends with a girl that was like an interior designer, legitimately friends with her, really nice to her actually. Never tried anything with her. She came to his house to measure his house. He's going to get stuff done in the house. And she said, there's this big, large room downstairs. And he's like, oh, you can't go in there. I got stuff and my guns are in there. Just measure around it. She thought it a little odd at the time, but then at the end of the day, well, no big deal. Now, once this came out, she was telling everyone he had this big room down there. His wife wasn't allowed. No one was allowed in it. Reminds me of Jerry Brudos. He was a series killer, and he was a foot guy, and he liked to take bodies and parts and put them in the freezer and different things like that. In his garage, his wife never went in his garage. She had such control over her. She just never even asked, don't go in the garage. Okay, honey. She also ran a sweeper in high heels too, but there's such control of these guys over these women. I feel so bad for his wife and his 2 kids. I really do, because I don't think they did
Mm.
anything. But I think it was one of those situations where outside he's this big, walking around at home. Oh, I don't like any of you. You get table scraps. I'm going to go downstairs where I have 300 guns in a bank vault while you need to shop with with what we call an access card here in Pennsylvania. That's just me.
Mm.
that. That's me saying
Yeah.
that. It's my
And
opinion.
Right.
I heard today, I think it was today that I heard, y'all, that the news said that now they're saying they believe that there was at least one victim unalive down in that vault. And
Oh, I didn't
I
see
only
that.
heard, yeah. I
I
mean,
wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
yeah,
I think something was in that vault. Maybe his things or his toys or his trophies or whatever.
Yeah,
Someone made a
trophies.
comment about serial killer. They will change their MO. But if you look at when certain victims were found, they went from being in suitcases and plastic to burlap. Burlap is symbolic. It's not criminally sophisticated. So that's why I'm thinking that wasn't him. But yes, certainly they could change, and they always get better. Like anything, if you golf 5 times a week, you're going to be a good golfer. If you golf once every 2 weeks like me, you're going to be average at best. You know what I mean? And I think he got better. And they do change. But if you look at the disposal methods, and I keep going back to the burlap sack, I think it's hugely significant. I just feel like him and his dad hunted there. They were duck hunting there, and this is something to do with his dad passing away at a young age. And hopefully, when from behind bars, hopefully he's going to tell us all this.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's going to be a whole lot, and I think you're absolutely right. To me, and there's a video, CJ. If you just go, I think I had put it on my community page the day that the stuff broke. I had shared this video on YouTube of this architect interviewing Huerman in his office. This is long before he was, a suspect, and so anyway, he sorry, I got distracted. I've got a note to myself to take the.
You talking about the French guy? The French
yes,
guy
tell me about that, because now
yeah.
My brain is addled, and I'm like, I've got to take out the garbage.
Too. Yeah, you want me to tell the French guy's story?
Yes, okay,
tell it. So I'll tell you the story, then I'll tell you my wild off theory on it. So this French guy comes in and he's doing an interview, and was it 2020 or 2020? I'm not even sure when it is exactly. But he comes in and Huerman's giving this interview about being an architect. He's from if you look it up, Rex Huerman French interview, you'll find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so he's in there talking, and Huerman's telling these stories, and he's like, "What's your favorite tool?" And he's like, "Oh, I have a finishing hammer, like a carpenter's finishing hammer."
Yeah, I seen that.
Like things or nails or things or whatever need. So he gives this interview, and here's what's interesting about it. If you look at his behavior, and one of the channels that I love is the behavior panel, they break his behavior down. So
yeah.
He's closing his eyes. He's talking down. When he starts talking about certain things, he gets excited. His fingers are spread apart. That means, oh, I'm okay. Then all of a sudden, he pulls his hands back in and goes like this. He's covered. He's holding in tight. He doesn't want to give any information out. And if you watch their things, they think the guy's like tipping his hand, like he's almost like getting off, like, oh, I know what I do with that hammer. I'm not saying anything about a hammer. I don't know, but it's odd. But I have a theory. They asked the perfect questions. I said, could the FBI have put this guy up? He comes in with a dog, immediately walking in. Huerman, all his power's taken away. He backs up, and he's like, oh, there's a dog here. So he's not the man. They shake hands out of sequence. Huerman's all weird. Goes back to his desk, and then he starts asking him, tell me your best story about saving something. Oh, Huerman. Oh, I did this. I'm the greatest. But go watch that interview and watch some, if you're in their body language and in interrogation, he asked the perfect questions. It's almost like some criminologist wrote it down and said, ask him this. We're going to get information from it.
I know, because I watched it before we started the show, because it was one of the first videos it was a court TV video or something, and it played that. And when I was watching it, I almost sat there, and when I got done watching it, I was like, I bet you that's like his go-to story. Like, I bet you he gets asked any general question, it'll lead back to the story with the hammer, the carpenter's hammer, and how he has to use it, and I think, because, I mean, when I watched it, I'm like, wow, this guy's, it was definitely odd, the stuff he was saying.
Oh, yeah, you got to watch
when especially when the guy interviewing him said people, and he was like, things.
Yeah.
Like they're not. And that in my head, I was like, oh, he's just telling people that the people that are the victims are not people to him; they are
Right.
things. But he's still talking about it. If you kind of put two and two together, I was like, ooh, that's crazy. I did an analysis as well. Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me write that down. Um,
And did you know that his brother has the Avalanche? Well, he had the Avalanche. They went down and repossessed it. His brother's in South Carolina, and he's building what appears to me to be like a survivalist compound down there. So what's behind
Mm-hmm.
door number 2 with the brother? He's been he's whacked people in the head with pipes down there. None of that I can confirm. But I found something today that did you know in 1998 he was in a drunk driving accident that actually killed a police captain.
Yes.
Well, how did he not?
Yeah.
How do you get out of that? How do you not get locked up for a very long time for that?
Whoa,
Yeah.
especially for drunk driving.
And you're hitting a police captain. Like how
Right.
do you? I don't understand. I don't. I just saw the article today and I was able to kind of confirm it's real. But so brothers in South Carolina, and I don't
I
know.
saw something
So
else today. Oh, go ahead.
We talk
do
about
you
the belt.
think do you think there's
Oh,
some kind of
I don't know. I could see him doing stuff down there. They have a ton of property. I don't know if the brother's involved or not. But you would think you could have two different people. But if they had a father die at a young age, Rex
right?
was 11, so the brother was he was a little bit younger. So maybe he was a little bit younger. It didn't affect him the same way, or maybe they're close enough in age and it did affect him the same way. And there's some kind of weird,
I don't know, man.
Blanquio thing going on or something.
It made me think of Henrietta, Oklahoma, with Cody McFadden and Jesse McFadden.
Yeah.
Jesse
Yeah,
McFadden
yeah,
is the main individual in all that stuff that went down, and then you look at his brother Cody, and it's like, okay, shit from childhood. The brothers, you think, man, one person, it's got to be an isolated kind of thing, and then when you see what the brother was in trouble for doing, you're like, whoa, it's not
yeah.
this is something this goes back, because if it's multiple family members, then it has to go back to the childhood. So that's what made me maybe ask about the whole brother, because you said he has a green avalanche, right?
Well, it was
And
Rex's
then
Avalanche. He gave it to him.
Yeah.
The police
oh,
went
he
and took
gave
it.
it to him.
Yeah, he gave it to him years before. The police seized it. I think the day before they
Oh,
announced he was arrested, they went and seized it. Or somewhere before then. But that was actually the Avalanche that was in question. And I
oh,
don't think
okay.
he used the Avalanche to do anything. When you're sadistic and you're a sadistic unaliver, what you need is time. You need a lot of time to do what you need to do, because you need time to inflict pain so you can get your little rocks off. And that's how demented of a person that sadistic people are. And it's hard to understand, but once you understand it, then you can maybe we understand it better. Maybe we could stop it or prevent it. Or only one incident's going to take. We're not going to take 10. We're going to
Right.
be this person right then and there.
But I have a question
So
about that. Okay, so he gives that avalanche to his brother, but don't you think it's a narcissistic, like, you're not gonna catch me in your face attitude, when he knew? Okay, he knew that he had been with Amber Costello, and then he had witnesses like that saw him. She disappears the next day. They're looking for this vehicle, but yet, I mean, to me, if I was a criminal, I would have got rid of that thing right away.
Yeah,
But he
yeah,
keeps it and then gives it to his brother, because, like, to me, it's almost sentimental, you know.
yeah. And it's sentimental, and it's like I'm smarter than you, and I only had to
Mm-hmm.
ship it a couple steps. That's his whole thing. I think he thinks he's smarter than everyone. We know that from work colleagues when he'd walk in a room like, I'm the architect, and he would even like try to upstage like the project manager or whoever was in charge. Well, I'm the architect. If I don't, if his drawings don't pass, you don't build the building, right? And he's popular. He gets the
mm,
job done with the building code as he
Exactly.
walks in. That's that side of the
mm,
cube that he's showing you. He showed these girls a much different side of the other side of the cube. Then he flips the cube around to the other side. He goes home, and he's just the dad that doesn't want to do anything other than grow a hell of a garden. That's why I thought that there had to be something weird in that garden. Because you look at that house, man, and you look at the garden, it's like one of them little shop of horror pets coming out of there. That's how big the plants are.
Oh, really?
He loved that garden. They dug it all up.
Oh.
We don't know what they found. They dug pretty deep, but that guy was a gardener. Even though his house was it was nice, but he wasn't taken care of. But his
Yeah, I noticed that
garden,
when I saw the house, I was like, because when I first heard everything, he was like this, big time architect or something, and then I saw the house and I was like, whoa, what kind of freaking neighborhood? I expected like some mansion style home or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had some place in the city also, like an apartment or something. No one said this, but another place for him closer to work so he didn't have to drive home. And I think he met some of these girls, if not a lot of them, in the city. So that's just I have. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he'd take him to his work or his office, but maybe he had some kind of pad or something, or like a bachelor crash pad or something in the city.
Right.
I don't think him and his wife had much of a relationship at this point. So if he didn't come home, I don't think she would even care.
Huh. So is that where all his money was going? Is that why the regular home with the garden and stuff, like nothing was being paid for? Was it because he had all these other pads or like?
Yeah. He could have been spending money with these workers. I don't think that he unalived every girl he was with. So this could have been 3 or 4 times a week. This could have been his money
all the time. Yeah, that was his addiction, was these girls or whatever.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures of him drinking. I don't know if he's a partier. In the early profile, they actually predicted that he would not have substance abuse problems, and that is incredibly rare for series people because they almost all of them have substance abuse. Most people don't know. Almost a great deal up until like maybe the 2010, they were like all alcoholics, like Ted Bundy, Gary Ridgway. These guys were functioning alcoholics, but I don't know what Huerman, but maybe who knows what he's into. I don't know. I think he'll tell us.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let's see, Coach Kev, the cube view from the victims. He showed himself demonic animal. Yes, it must have been terrifying to have that towering ogre over you.
So the cube thing, like I said before, you look at a cube, like don't think of the top or the bottom, the four sides. They keep turning different faces. You show different people different faces. That's like a profile.
Multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, or mask. They call them masks. You have different masks that you wear for different people. So you're never you. You're always projecting. And the victims, if you look at the victims, here I have 2 thoughts about them. They're very small. In high school, his nickname was Herman Munster, right? Instead of Herman Munster, because he was so big and like, So he's picking these smaller girls because number one, I think they look like his mother. There's pictures of his mom. I don't know her height, but she had a reddish tint to her hair. His wife has red hair. He's picking these girls and he's taking what he considered a disability to himself, being tall and standing out. He doesn't want to stand out. Now he's using this hulking presence even more. So he could find a girl that's 5'10" or 6 foot and still she could look short because he's tall, but he wants to dominate as much as possible. So I think his victim type is small as possible so he can just further exasperate that what used to be a disadvantage to him. Now it's his big advantage. Now here comes Big Rex projecting this big raw hulking ogre, and his method was, like we said, choking. That was his method, and that doesn't happen fast. That takes a lot to do, but the hands that he had, and that they're not very big. And, that's just a theory. That's a guess by me. I haven't seen that anywhere. The high school stuff they called him
that. Well, I mean, it fits, right? It's kind of crazy and ironic. Do you know how tall? Is there like a height and weight?
I'm here at 6'6", 6'7", and I haven't heard a weight, but guessing because as a former athlete and a coach,
350 something.
I would say he's not. He was thinner and he's getting like old man weight, so he's probably maybe 320 possibly. Okay. But he's big. His arms are big. He got big hands, so you would assume big feet. Stuff like that. But this is all things like athletes and coaches look at. Like, oh, he got a weight, blah, 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 look how big. Or if a kid was young with a long, skinny neck, the college recruit said, it means he's going to grow more. He got a long, skinny neck. So I don't know. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But he's a huge – look at him with the police officers. I mean, they're not picking out all the 5'5" police officers. Some of these police officers are 6 foot, 6'1", and he just towers over them. Towers over
Hmm.
them.
Yeah, I haven't even seen that. Let me see here. I want to play uh just a couple quick parts real quick. I'm going to show that fake heart attack from that
Allegedly innocent. I
doctor.
think I agree with you. I
Hackett.
think that was both the doc. That's my opinion. Those were the things, like he told the mom he administered a sedative, and then I think that he did what he did. That's just my personal guess or opinion.
A small
I'm sure
puncture
right.
right through the middle. Right through the middle.
Oh, unless he means it was a weapon used. I was thinking a puncture from the doctor's thing, and then okay, yeah, that's possible. That's an interesting thing. I have to look into that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
That's good stuff, though. That's what we want to know.
Let me see here. 1 second. So this
I
is
don't
from.
think he would have ever quit.
Now, like I said, they age out.
Leads.
You see people age out, but like I was telling you the other day, Silky, and his daughter told us this. They're looking back old cases of BTK because they thought he quit.
He said something about it. BTK.
They don't think he quit. They're actively investigating cold cases. The FBI, and she's helping them. They think they're going to hang a couple more cases on him.
Yeah, I seen there's a couple interviews that BTK had talked about Rex, saying that he was basically a copycat or something.
He had over 200 projects. He would stalk, he would chum and then stalk, he called it, and each victim was a project. So we had 200 projects in his paperwork. So they don't know, and he's not saying anything yet. But yeah, so Huerman, and if they were looking like you said today, Silky, he was looking at someone else, he would not have stopped. He was smarter than everyone. He got away with it. You know, he might have known Burke. He might have seen him at these parties. That's completely possible.
Yeah.
With Dr. Fake Heart Attack. They might have been all there together, you know?
Actually today, and I know you wouldn't play this, CJ, but like go ahead. I mean, go ahead if you want to, but remind me to tell you about something I saw. Well, I was watching a YouTube video, and this is from a couple of years ago, and it was called Chasing News, and this is, I think, from about 2020. And they had an interview with this woman named Leanne. Now, according to Leanne, she said she was at a party with Hackett and Burke as the escort on Gilgo Beach. So now, if that is true,
what? Yeah. Right there.
Yep. If that is true, you know, Burke, the police, you know, man, whatever. I hate to say police person, because he was just such a
disgraced policeman. He's disgraced.
The disgraced. But she says that she was there with both Hackett and Burke. So, I mean, now here you have, I'm not saying Burke is responsible for the Gilgo Beach 4, but Shannon Gilbert, if Leanne was the same, you know, in the same kind of situation, then that would explain, that would tie Burke, you know. And possibly Spoda. Most likely Spoda would cover it up if Burke was involved with, you know, of course Leanne didn't pass away, but she was there saying, yeah, this happened. Burke and Hackett partied together with women. So that to me was huge.
Is there a way that they can be brought in for questioning since the new regime kind of did its thing? Do you know if they've been? Is it maybe something that's secret or wouldn't be released? Or
it's probably secret, but I wonder. I hope it is. I hope Harrison's going to serve the summons himself and say, "Hey, here's your subpoena. Here's your subpoena, jerk." And I hope that that's happening, CJ. But we haven't heard that, or that they're being tight-lipped if it is. There's no witness list or anything like that yet. They just gave the defense 8 terabytes of evidence. It's the first dump, 8 terabytes. I guess I understand that's a lot. I don't even know the numbers of that, but 8 terabytes is a lot, right? They gave them 8 terabytes.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, what do you think it consists most of? Video, audio, or
all
photos and articles?
There's probably pages of how they were linking the phones and calling, and I don't know, the hairs, the belt. We didn't talk about the belt. Everyone saw that. If you didn't see the belt, you could look it up. There's pictures. And not everyone wasn't sure what it said on the belt. So this belt, we found out that this belt was on Karen Vergata, 1997. Okay. I think it was 1997 for Karen Vergata, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where this belt was. They identified her, but they had the belt. The belt, if you look at it, says WH. I thought that this was a given information that was already reported, but apparently not. The police are holding it back. It was his grandfather, William Humerman. Grandpa was William Humerman. Theodore Humerman was his dad. So 1997, he made a really bad mistake by leaving a belt that's monogrammed at a crime scene. To me, that's one of his early crimes. He makes a mistake like that. He wouldn't do that again, right? He was using other things to bound and restrain the girls after that. But you could look that picture up, and to me, that's his grandfather, William Humerman's belt, and that'll just be something else they link him to.
Perry was asking who were the officers that responded to Shannon's 911 calls. I was trying to find that information, and in fact, the one place that I was looking said they didn't have a listing for
didn't it take 45 minutes or something for them to get there?
Yeah, and they really didn't. Yes, it took a ridiculous amount of time, and the officers, to my knowledge, the last place that I was looking said that they could not find a name on that report. And it was kind of like, I mean, it's not that they didn't take it seriously, but they didn't take it seriously.
No, I don't think the 911 operator took it seriously either. And maybe they're thinking this. If you listen, I don't think that maybe this person's on some kind of substance and they're acting goofy, because she's not screaming. She's yelling, but she's not screaming. But she seems like a dude. But everyone listen to it. Listen to it yourselves and see what you think. But I don't think they thought so. They kind of, police will come up and they'll say it's unfounded. Hey, we don't see anyone here now. No one's screaming or yelling now, so we're leaving. We don't know. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
Do either one of you have the 911 call on your guys' channel?
I don't know if I put it on my channel, but you should be able to just look it up, because they the Tyranny had a press conference, and like I said, they sat on this for like 10 years. They wouldn't release it to the public for 10 years. They said that there was no yelling, or it was just it was normal talk, and then you could hear it, and it's clearly isn't normal talk.
Right. I mean, I must have only heard half of it.
Yeah, I think there's two of them. It breaks off once, but it's like 25 to 30 minutes total.
Yeah,
that's the real one. So the 25 to 30, and that's so
it might be like one's like 14, one's like 14.
I've seen one for like 10 minutes. Okay, so the longer one is like a full version. What's the one that's the shorter version? Do you know what's cut out of it?
The shorter version might have been something they played at the press conference that was just like clipped up or something. I don't know if they played the whole version at the initial press conference or not, but you should be able to, if you look up Shannon Gilbert or Gilgo Beach 911, you should be able to get multiple options for it, and you'll hear it for yourself. And
I was surprised. Yeah, when I was listening to it, I was like, I got confused, because I was like, is this somebody in the background on the phone, or is this the 911 operator? Like, I was
and then they
confused.
switch off to different operators too.
Is that what it was? Because
and what happens there is, if you have a 911 operator like, oh, this lady's crazy, you get on the phone, so you too could say she's crazy. So if something happens, there's two of us operators. This is how they operate 911. There's two of us that both think, yeah, something's wrong with her. We think this is unfounded. Or if it's something crazy coming in, a supervisor will just listen in. That's what they do. We deal with 911 all the time. So that's what I think was happening. That's just a guess.
Okay. And then is that okay if I use that allegedly innocent? If you have the uncut version, is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Also, when it comes to, you brought up the belt with the dad or grandfather. Who was it? The grandpa. Okay. So when it comes to the DNA, because I guess that they found they found it from a slice of pizza, is what I keep hearing, but the DNA at the scene, I heard, was of the wife, right?
It was her hair.
Him. So because they found her hair, that means that it, like, I know it's his wife, but that just means that he I
I
guess
mean,
because I
she,
haven't read the PCA, so I guess if I read the PCA, then I probably wouldn't even be asking that question.
well,
Or
yeah, but I mean, basically, they thought because they found her hair DNA that was
okay,
on the belt of
it's
one
just
of the
automatic.
three different. Yeah, they thought that she was involved, even though they knew he was. Then they thought, well, is this
Oh,
a
okay.
family venture?
Yeah.
But then when
Is
they
that why I
started,
heard maybe the wife was involved in
well,
with?
that's what they had to look at. But
Okay.
when they really started looking at where she was, they could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that at the time of the disappearance of these three or four victims, she was literally either out of the state and not just temporarily like for days or weeks, or out of the country. So they completely, and that says that in the PCA, that they exonerated her from all of that.
Yeah. And
Wow.
the hairs weren't specifically hers, but here's the percentage. One of them comes back that it's 99.98. So there's only a 0.02% chance that hair's from someone else. And the other one was like 99.61. So there's a 0.031% chance that it's not her hair. So you start lining this up on multiple victims. You have a 99% probability on this one, 99% probability there.
Right.
Then the question is, he could have picked up hair around the house, right? But did he take them to the house? Did he take them to the wife's bed? Did he take them to his vault room while they were gone? I think it's more than likely that he took the girl there and she picked up the hair there while they were away. That's only a guess. And again, that involves the boat and everything else coming back with it, but that's just a guess. But yeah, so that's how they did have to rule her out. I think they ruled her out before they interviewed her through her cell phone records. They were able to find out she's in Iceland or this or that, or when these girls went missing. And they knew Rex. And they were like, this is just another bullet in our weapon for the, when we go to trial here. But yeah, I truly don't
Hmm.
believe she knew anything about it. I really, really don't. I really don't.
Yeah. It just, because her hair was long, it attached easily to
Hmm.
an article or somebody, and that's how I can definitely see that. Yeah, definitely go sub to Coach Kev and Silky Southern Tea if you're not familiar with their channels. They both have awesome content on YouTube, and they talk about a lot of other cases too. Definitely go give them a sub and show them some love.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just, oh, sorry. You know how I am, CJ, my ADD. Um, like I start talking. But I was
No, you're
looking
good.
at a comment by Allegedly Innocent who says that in this uncut 911 call that we have been misled on what happened. Um,
Hmm.
and it says, in other words, yeah, that they did take it seriously. So if we were led to believe that, yeah, it was a crazy call and they probably didn't take it that seriously, but if they did and it's been cut up that way, now this
Ah,
makes me wonder, okay, if it was coming from around the area of Hackett's house and there are other people there, could Jim Burke have been there that night? Could he have been one of those players and said, hey guys, never mind, I know the 911 call in, but I'm over here and it's all good?
or could they
Hmm.
be holding part of the 911 tape back to not tip off people that they know that they're involved? Now that comment, I'm thinking like that now. I'd love to
Right.
hear that.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely. That's
because
okay.
that's new
So
information.
is okay, because what is it the running through? I guess there's triggering parts of it. I didn't listen
Yeah,
to
there
the whole thing.
definitely
So
is. And the other thing,
okay.
unless they mean that the police lied to us, which they did, and they said there was nothing on the tape. Do they mean that? And then later on, we found out there was. No, she was not. She has a comment down here. She's not impaired.
Wow. Yeah, she says she was not cognitive. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah, impaired. Oh,
And
wow.
it's so creepy to hear when she talks to her driver, Michael Pack, and said, "You were in on this." To me, that's like, I don't know. I'm not saying he was, but imagine that level of deserting your friend. Or are they going to tie Pack into bringing girls out that they're going to do this stuff with too? That's just it's a far fetched theory, but Yeah, everyone go listen to it. And you come up with your own opinions, but it is very hard to listen to, so you guys know
I
ahead of time.
don't know
Okay.
if I've heard the uncut version. I don't
Yeah,
think I have.
I mean, I think I
Um,
did, but I'd like to hear what allegedly has. Yeah,
yeah, let me see
interesting.
here. Um, how long? Let me see here. Is it under the video section allegedly?
It's probably got to be about 25 minutes long or so, I would think.
And let me share this. This is allegedly innocence page on YouTube. Definitely go give her a follow too. Um, and I appreciate your hard work. I had checked out your channel maybe a month and a half ago. And I was definitely interested on a lot of the things, um, a lot of the tools that you use for your sleuthing. So, let's see here. I'll have to tell you. Okay. If you, let me see here. If you want to send it to me, if either email or Discord or something. Now, P Fox, is there? I think that one was like a 2 minute version. Is there a? Let me see.
Wow, that's gonna change everything, though, y'all. If that 911 call was manipulated.
Well, you know what? The only thing that I think, the only thing that I would say it wouldn't be, and again, this is just me just trusting Harrison and Tyranny because they released it. Is there any way that it could have been doctored and they wouldn't have known it was doctored? You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that they'd be able to tell, but maybe they're saying
Right.
the initial tape was something happened to it or they did something and that's all they have as record. I'm interested to see what they have to say about that. Yeah,
But
anything anyone has, I'm interested to see in this
well,
case.
yeah, me too. But then again, we're not 100% sure that Shannon Gilbert was part of Rex Hewerman's
Yeah,
crop of,
I personally, I don't think she
Right.
was, and
I don't either.
I think Hewerman. This is just me. Was operating independently of Doctor Fake Heart Attack, and honestly, who knows how many other appear to be normal people? You know, there had to be. I think it was like a club of these guys that would just, oh, we're better than everyone. We make this
Mm-hmm.
money, and we could treat these women any way we
Yeah.
want to. No, you can't. And hopefully
Hmm.
they pay for it. But that's just me theorizing.
Hmm. I did come across this Court TV one. Now, what is supposedly doctored on it? Does anybody know what the
Yeah,
difference
I'm not. I don't.
between
I don't know what she meant by that.
them? Let me see here. Do me a favor, allegedly, are you on Discord? Um, or if or mods, if I miss a comment, let me know. I came across this Court TV version of the 911 call. I imagine it's the full length one because the video is 44 minutes, so I'm sure there's some commentary before, after, and maybe even in between, which would draw it out longer than the actual call. Let me see here. Let me go to this real quick and
Oh,
we'll go ahead
okay. I
and
think
check it
allegedly
out.
is it said there is the link. Where did you find her link?
Okay, 1 second. I put a space between the O and the U. YouTube. Okay.
And she said start at 1344.
Right, 1 second. Mods, can one of my mods grab that from YouTube and pop it in Discord? I'm trying to. I don't see it. So the timestamp is 1344. You will see where I typed trigger warning 3 times. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I can't see it. Yeah, I can't see it. Let me see. Are you able to email me or a Twitter message or yeah, I can't see it. If you can email me, send it to a Twitter message or Discord, EvilCJ2540.
Yeah, that would be something.
EvilCJ@gmail.com is where you can send it to my email. Thank you. I appreciate your help on that. I'd love to have you on the show sometime too. If you'd ever be interested, allegedly, just let me know in the email. Thank you, Heavy Metal. Got the unedited version. I don't know. I think he went to bed. He was saying good night. So he might have been calling it early. I know he's tired. But allegedly innocent. She's been hanging out, so I'd like to highlight her as well. She's a content creator as well. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
yeah.
Her out too.
Let me I'll drop the link to her YouTube again. If you want to sub, and then I'll put it in private chat too if you guys want to check her out as well.
Yeah, and is she into into this case? We have a Discord. Well, I don't even know. I'm in a couple with Silky. I don't even know whose they are.
I know. Everybody's got a different name.
Discord is crazy, man.
I talk to people about a lot of different things, but I put a lot of the wrong topics in a lot of the wrong places because I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, I just DM on there right now.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another rabbit hole in its own to try and figure out and learn and all that other stuff. Yeah, it definitely sounded odd to me because I even questioned. I was like, is that somebody on panel? Is that somebody in the background of the phone, or is that the 911 operator? Because I'm like, this is freaking odd. I was in my vehicle when I heard that part of the show.
That's an overnight shift at the 911 center about 4:30 in the morning, and if they're not busy, maybe you're catching some Z's or something, and someone calls in and you're like, what is this madness? And I know 911 dispatchers, and there's a lot of BS calls that come in, right? And maybe they thought that was one of them. I don't know. But when they get the second operator on, it makes me think they're trying to confirm it as being like a hoax.
Yeah. I could see that because when I remember the first part of the conversation, I was like, it was very odd to me that she was talking on the phone and then you could hear the people in the background like they were standing just a couple feet from her talking to her, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, how is she able to say there's people coming after me, you know, when you can hear the people in the background? So I can definitely understand why, you know, maybe somebody might have thought it was a prank at first or something.
Or maybe they thought that she somehow wasn't getting through or something. Like they didn't seem to care either, which, you know, was odd to me because if you're doing something, ain't you going to try to get that phone and get no 911 call, hang it up before they can figure out where it is? Then she asked the lady if she could come down on her or triangulate her. And she says, no, we can't. Which I don't know if that's the case or not, or if that 911 operator says, I don't think I need to go ahead and do that, or to reach out to whatever agency does that. But I don't know the ins and outs of Suffolk County, so I can't say that for sure. But yeah, it was almost like the 911 operator was like talking to Shan, like, hold on a second. What did you say over there? Interested in what was going on. Like, you're a 911 operator. Don't ever put the phone down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and there was a gap too, because I remember sitting there going, "Okay, are they just sitting there listening to what's what's happening, trying to figure out, or are they processing it or something?"
Yeah.
Like, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'll go ahead and start getting into this video that's discussing it while I'm waiting for that email. And I think there was one other thing, but I wrote it down. I'll have to look through my notes. Let me see. And this also has it has the actual text on the screen for the call too. And
Oh,
then I'll
cool.
keep looking for that allegedly innocent. And I
That is
appreciate
the voice
you.
of Shanny.
I appreciate you sharing that too. So this is Court TV. Give me 1 second. We'll switch to that, and then we'll take a listen. I should have it. Okay. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much. Okay. And let me pull that up. And then here's the link to, again, thank you, Allegedly Innocent. I appreciate you sharing that. Here's the link to her video, if you wouldn't mind going to show that some love as well. And I'll put it in the private chat for you guys as well on the panel, if you guys would like to save that for your playlist as well. See here, and thank you again. Let me get your channel into the content creator credit, and we'll get to watching this. This is 36 minutes, and if this is going to possibly trigger you, please put it on mute. If the words are triggering, it will have the words on the screen. Just come back in about 40 to 42 minutes. But as long as I have this graphic warning content in the top right of the screen, you'll know once that's gone, we are not listening to the call anymore, and it would be safe for you to come back. So let me throw that up there, and we will get listening. And thank you all for hanging out tonight. And I appreciate you two being up here, hanging out with me as well, as we go through this. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch it, and we're going to sit back and check this phone call out. And I am going to mute the music as well while we watch this.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Kevin Byra, the commanding officer of the Suffolk County Police Homicide Section. This video was made to explain the circumstances surrounding the 3 911 calls made on the day Shannon Gilbert went missing. The full, unedited 911 calls are available, and I encourage people to listen to them in their entirety. Portions of the call taken out of context will sound sensational. During the early morning hours of May 1st, 2010, Shannon Gilbert, a Craigslist sex worker and resident of Jersey City, New Jersey, traveled from Manhattan to meet a client, Joseph Brewer, at his home at 8 The Fairway, Oak Beach, New York. Shannon was driven to Oak Beach from Manhattan by her driver, Michael Pack. Neither one was familiar.
Oh, okay. The uncut edited goes to, okay. Let's see, 1344. Sorry about that. We can watch, we'll go to the beginning of it after this is done, because I definitely want to watch the whole thing.
9, how can I assist you? Hello? Hello? Hello, you dialed into the 911 system. How can I assist you? Hello?
Yeah.
Do you need the police?
Yeah.
Where? Where? Who's there with you? Hello? What's going on?
Well, there's somebody after me.
What?
Somebody after me.
Somebody is harassing you?
After me.
Who?
Can you trace her in?
Let me talk to him.
Can you trace her in?
Let me talk to him.
Like the Jones Beach.
You're at Jones Beach?
By the Jones Beach.
All right, let me connect you to state police. Stay on the line.
Why? Why?
You got to talk louder to them.
Why? Why?
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No. 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 No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why didn't you call me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please. Can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
Go that way, please. Come on, let's go. Come on, roll that side. Come on, go outside. Come on, all of us. Come on, roll that side. Come on.
No, please.
Come on. Please, come on.
Please.
Come on.
Why? Why?
County, are you on the line?
Hurry up, I want to show you something.
Why?
I want to show you this. Please come on.
Why? Why are you guys doing this to me? Doing this.
What county are you in, ma'am?
Doing this. Why are you calling me by my name? Please. No, please. No. No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please stop it. Please stop it. No, please. Stop it. Please stop it. No.
Let me fix that.
Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it.
Please, get him out of here. What do you want?
No.
Go out. I'll go upstairs. You leave. I'm gonna go upstairs. You leave. I'm gonna go upstairs. Okay? You leave, please. Please, take care. My hold. What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to me? Why?
Huh? Well, I don't know. But it was sent out of the mail.
Why?
No.
Are you gonna kill me?
It came into, I think it's just a county on the website for the person. The county announcement.
Kill me? Why are you gonna
Call Suffolk number.
Yes.
You freaking out. Come on.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Let's go back to Manhattan. All right? We're in Long Island. We're out near the water.
Please stop.
Me, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please.
Oh, okay, fine.
Please take my time to dive.
I'm near the water. And
Dive?
let's go.
I didn't do anything.
631. 511.
Why? Mike, you close that?
Sometime in March.
Mike, why? 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 Why, Mike? For fun? For me? I'm never gonna do it again. Why? I never did. Mike, please. Mike, please. Please. Please.
There's something I don't know what phone she's calling from, but I can't
gonna kill me.
and where she's coming from. She needs help.
You're like, I'm gonna find my way home.
It's not in the house with the female. And the female was the initial caller.
So this is all set up?
You set everything up? I waited for you. You told me you're gonna find your way home, so I was like, what? You know, nothing that I
So this is all set up?
you never did this before.
Set up?
Well, you're joking with me, right?
Why?
I don't know. Why are you doing that?
All right, I'll say I was lying.
You did?
Why?
It was a 631 number.
Why?
You can try talking to her, but she's not.
Please.
Since she's got the phone down.
Please.
Hello? Hello?
Please.
What's the matter? What happened? Hello?
Please, get me out of here, Lee.
Hello?
You're being sarcastic about this. You were part of this all along.
Oh, I can manage it now.
Mike, please. I'm begging you. I just want to go home. Why?
Well, we can give them. What's this? 573 9308. Is that us?
What's going on?
I think so.
What? Yeah.
Extension answering. That's the number it came in.
Why are you sitting there knocking about the pasta?
Mhm.
Something's gonna happen to me.
Yeah, you could call it, but we're not going to know where it is. County should call it.
Right.
No, isn't that the county phone number?
Please.
Every time county number changes something over.
Okay.
511 thing.
Get out of here. What's the phone?
Oh, it does? Hot Suffolk? It's got to be Suffolk, right? Hello?
Stop it. Stop it, Mike.
Hello, where are you?
Huh?
Where are you?
What's going on there?
What's your name?
Where's the bathroom?
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Where are you?
I'm by, I'm in Long Island.
And Mike is there.
And what's wrong?
Huh?
What happened?
These people are plotting to kill me.
Where are you? What's your address? What's your address?
My address.
What's your address?
Oh, Mike, stop, Mike. Here. Mike, stop. Mike, stop, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where are you?
Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
What's your name, Shannon?
Huh?
What's
Mike, stop. Come here.
Where are you? What's your address? Hello?
Yeah, hold on, and then I know you're going to the address. Tell them something. Mike, stop it. You guys are planning something. Mike.
Where are you?
Mike.
Are you in the house?
Yeah. Mike, stop it.
What town are you in?
Long Island, Mike, it's...
Where?
Stop, Mike.
Where in Long Island?
Stop it, Mike. Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know.
Hello?
You're going to kill me.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know. They're going to kill me.
Are you in a house? Are you in a house?
Yeah.
Whose house is it?
I don't know.
Who is Mike? What's his last name?
He's crazy.
Mike what?
He's crazy.
How old are you? What's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name? Shannon. Shannon. Shannon? Shannon?
Yeah.
What town? What town are you in? Hello? What's Mike's last name? Hello?
Because he'll leave. One of the guys said, let's go back to the
Where are you? Where are you, Shannon? Shannon. Shannon.
1034.
1234 963 Ray.
Shannon.
Oh my gosh.
She's not talking.
I don't want to put it.
Is that her running?
You do?
I put this number back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's running. She's going to come up to the first house here, I think, pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you can hear like the shoes on the heels or flip flops or something. Something's flapping.
Flip flops.
Okay. Yeah, and it should be here pretty soon. Let's see.
Yeah. 9308 is one of our extensions, I think. Oh, did you call that one?
Shannon? Hello?
What? What?
I believe that was the first house where the lady didn't let her in. Now she's going to go to the second house and she talks to a guy. That lady did call the police though also.
Okay.
Allegedly saying no. I thought it was the lady. Might have that wrong.
Wow.
Shannon.
I wonder if she has a phone in her pocket.
Shannon. Shannon.
That poor
Shannon.
thing.
Somebody up here? Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Don't keep yourself hurt. Where are you going? Wait a minute. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Something like Dopert, Dopert.
I think there might be some in the freezer.
Hello? She didn't spell it, but that's what it sounded like.
That was crazy. It definitely sounded like a few minutes ago there was some kind of police chatter or dispatch, right? No chains. And then like that gentleman that was speaking there within the last minute saying something about you don't want to get yourself hurt or something. Was that the people that were chasing her?
No, I think allegedly confirmed, but I think that was the guy that was trying to help her. I think his name was Gus.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So
there was a lady that she knocked at. I don't know if she talked to her or not, but she didn't let her in because someone's banging on your door at like
right.
4:35. But she did call 911. There's a tape of her calling
Okay.
too, and she actually is talks. I don't know if allegedly has this, but of the the truck leaving the gate, the SUV, the Michael Pack was driving, leaving the gate. And I don't know if she
Yeah.
confirmed the girl was in the car, Shannon was in the car or not, or if he was just taking off. I'm not sure about that part. Sophie, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, so because okay, that is next.
Yeah.
Um
Remember, law enforcement told the public that that was a normal conversation they were having, and Attorney Ray said, "No, that's BS," and they held this for 10 years and released it. So why would they lie? That clearly isn't a normal conversation.
No.
Clearly.
And the way that I first heard this 911 call, and they said she was impaired, the way that it was cut, it sounded like she just kept, you know how she does in the beginning, just kept repeating, someone's after me, someone's
yeah.
after me. The
Yeah.
way it was cut, it sounded like she was on something, but listening to this whole thing, you can tell she is not impaired.
No.
It's I don't know. It's people can have. Now here's the thing with Shannon. She had a history of mental illness, and she had a history of drug use. So the police automatically assumed that's what it was. Once they found out who was missing and who this made this call, So their investigation was, oh, she's not. She probably ran off somewhere. So they really weren't concerned. Her mom pushed it so much, but people in fight or flight responses, you could have your fight or flight kick in, and you might not even be able to talk. You get caught in the mouth.
Right.
You might talk like you're intoxicated. I don't know.
Right.
See, I still lean to think, and I know I disagree with you, and I disagree with allegedly, but if I just think that maybe they put something in her to make her act like that, and then the doctor calls the next day. I just think that the
Right.
doctor used something on her to
Yeah.
inhibit her and make her that way, some kind of sedative or something. That's just my guess. You guys might be right, and I might be wrong, but we can all agree that that's horrible.
Right.
Yeah, and I
Terrible.
mean, she was there for hours, in the
Yeah.
partying, whatever.
They
I'm sure
paid for
she
more.
had something.
They paid for more time too. They extended the original
Yeah.
deal, which was, I don't know if it was a 3 hour period. They extended it to 3 more or whatever the case was.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, you would think that, she would at least have been drinking or doing something. They were probably doing something, but I can't say that sounded like she was, insane or
No, definitely
anything
not.
like
Definitely,
that.
yeah. I don't think that at all. Yeah, either an
Right.
impairment or maybe it was just a psychological response to with the stress that she was going through at the time. Because clearly she's frightened, she's scared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Michael Pack, when she says you're in on this, that's heartbreaking to me. And I don't know if he is or not, but she believes that he is. She feels betrayed. She has nobody now. At that point, that's just so scary for her. But and then she's found in the doctor's backyard, almost literally. So,
Well, I mean, it definitely is suspicious when he calls the mother and offers information that would implicate that there might be some substances in her body.
before
Yeah.
mom knows she's missing.
Right. It definitely is suspicious as hell. So I see where you're coming from, even if it isn't correct. I definitely feel where you're coming from with that speculation. Let me see, man. I've been drunk and something happened. I mean, yeah, because when I listened to the other one, that's the thing I heard in the beginning was the over and over and over. And before
Mhm.
we started talking about this or getting into it, I already had the suspicions in the back of my head that, I did get, I'm not going to lie, I did get the impression I was like, why, if it was already suspicious to me, how are you able to talk on the phone when somebody's right in front of you? Do they not know you're talking to 911? Because to me, it sounded like during that whole call, it sounded to me like there's a couple times they mentioned something about calling cops or not making sure she don't
Yeah.
call the cops or
Yeah, what are you going
something
to
like
say to
that.
him or something? That's what I think. They don't think that
Something.
she dialed 911. I don't believe
Right.
that because even if it's just a John that wants to get a girl out of the house, he doesn't want the cops showing up. Well, what are you
Right.
doing here? Well, now it's out that I had a girl. Maybe I'm married. My wife's away. Now the neighbors are going to tell her. But and later
Mhm.
on, when they said about being in the pocket, I think someone in the comments said that once she's running, uh, it's May. So it could be short and t-shirt weather, or it could be it's the Northeast. It could be a jacket weather in May. So it's absolutely
Yeah.
possible that was the
Yeah.
case when she was running, and maybe she forgot that she was on with 911, or maybe she purposely left it on, thinking that in 2010 we had a technology to trace a cell phone, which we did. I don't know what happened there. I have no explanation for that.
I
They should have been
mean,
able to come down within 18 feet of her.
I think if it was colder, we would have heard. I don't know, just my opinion. I think if it was colder, I would have heard some kind of sniffle at some point. I would have heard
Well,
more
we heard
maybe
flip
heavy
flops
breathing.
too. I think we heard
Right.
flip flops to me. So
Right. So to me, it kind of leads me to believe it was a warm May when that maybe took place. So there's another 911 call after this one. Is that one released? Is that one available?
you mean
And
the woman that calls?
right, is
I've
that
heard that. I'm
sealed?
not sure where. No.
Okay.
That's out there. I forget what her name. Allegedly, I think might know it. but that's
Okay.
kind of a short one. And she assures maybe it's a minute long, and she's like, I don't want to let her in because it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm surmising what she's saying, and but she seems like she needs help or whatever, or she's scared or she's running. And then during that call is where you'll hear I think she says the black, I think it was like a black Range Rover or a black something is leaving the gate now. But I don't think she said if Shannon was in the vehicle
Oh,
or not, or the guy just said, I'm out of here, I'm leaving, and left her to whatever.
okay.
I don't know.
So it is on this recording? Okay. Is it in the beginning? Um and so basically she was able to run to these other properties, knock on the door. Uh so I imagine these gentlemen somehow got her back into the vehicle and took off.
I don't
They
know.
Or
said she ran into the marsh.
Yeah, that's where they found her. But I don't know if she ran into the marsh where they found her at, or it was a different marsh. I haven't been able to confirm that. I don't know if you know that, Silky. Like if where she ran into is where they eventually found her. If that's where they said police, she ran over there, or did they find her somewhere else? She ran in
Well,
here, but we found her over here. I don't know.
yeah, I think let me say, I think they said she was running down the road, which I guess she was if she was trying to get to other houses.
mm-hmm,
But they
mm-hmm.
found her in the marsh behind Hackett's house.
Yeah.
So,
And
you know.
there's a canal that runs through there, and she's near that. And that
Mhm.
canal is the one I was talking about with the boat. But you'd be able to get a little John boat up and down there and not even have to go on the road.
The one thing that I noticed about this call that makes me so angry is the 911 operator. I mean, what the heck? There's just
Right.
long pauses. You're not really trying. Okay, she keeps repeating the same thing after, what's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name? Okay, when she didn't answer you the first time, maybe you need to say something differently. There was no rapport going there. There was no, like, I don't think that she made Shannon feel like she was really being helped, that they had any kind of relationship, that she could, really talk to this woman. Because, I mean, it's just big silent. What kind of 911 operator does that crap? I don't get it.
Yeah, it
That's
kind
not,
of reminds me. I don't know if this was a trend back then, but it kind of reminds me because I remember hearing a lot of stuff about 911 operators back in those times of the same kind of shit going on the late night shifts
Yeah.
where they just
People would be
weren't
falling
freaking
asleep.
aware.
There
Yeah,
was a
they
story
just
where
weren't aware.
a guy, or it was a guy or a girl, I don't remember, but this was a domestic going on, and he was actually snoring. He fell asleep talking to the lady and was snoring and lost his job. It was local around here to me, so we heard about it. But
wow.
yeah, it was. They have a tough job and they're overworked here in Allegheny County. They get all the time get mandated. So they work 8 hours and then someone comes in or calls off and they're like, well, you can't go home till midnight now. You're supposed to go home before, but you can't go
Right.
home till midnight. And if you leave, you're fired. Same with me.
Jeez.
You could get mandated in our jobs and you can't leave. You're abandoning your shift if you leave. So, and it's a
Right.
stressful job that they have. It really, really is. But
Oh
at
yeah.
some point, goodness gracious, you got to do something. And they talked about calling. Maybe we should call the county. Well, would the county be able to trace the call? Why didn't you call them? Like it's
Yeah,
4.
why not
We don't
trace
want to wake
it?
them up. That could be what they're thinking. Well, we don't want to wake them up at 4 in the morning because they're over there sleeping too. I don't know. I'm just,
Mm. Wow. Yeah. Right. Of course, because I mean, come on. It reminds me of like I can't remember what the movie is, but where somebody was kidnapped and they were on the phone the whole time. I can't remember what the movie was. Do you guys know? Have you heard of typically unique? Brought up a good point. Have you guys heard of any connection between Rex and Joe Brewer that you
I
guys have knowledge of?
haven't.
not
Yeah.
yet. No, I've tried to put that together. I'm pretty sure Brewer and Doctor Fake Heart Attack were friends.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that
I'm
video.
almost positive that Burke and Doctor Fake Heart Attack were friends. I can't necessarily prove that, but the Huerman. See, I think Huerman, in my opinion, Huerman's operating alone. He's not working with anybody. he might run in the same circles and know some of the same girls and things like that. He might be at some of these parties, but I think what he's doing, he's keeping private for himself. That's my personal
Yeah.
opinion. But he could be in these circles with all these people, and some of these people may even have suspected him of doing this. Hey, I know that girl was with him last, but what are they going to say? Well, how do you know? Well, I'm married and she's only a working girl, so it doesn't matter. That's the mentality of sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And if you guys wanted that, here is the call. Thank you, Doodle. Yes, that's it. Kind of made me think of that. There's the link to that video again. Thank you, Allegedly Innocent. I appreciate you, and I'd love to have you up. I'm going to be having more shows about this, and I'd definitely love to have you two up again. And maybe Dago's covering the case as well. You, Allegedly Innocent, if you'd like to join. We can all kind of connect and see.
What's Allegedly Innocent's channel? Is that the name of the channel? Allegedly?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and here. Let me share. I'll share the link again, and then I'll share the banner and everything of the channel, so you know that it's the correct one.
I'm guessing she's female by the way she typed. Let's see if I'm good at being a profiler.
Yeah, right here.
She uses really good language.
This is her page.
Definitely check it out.
Okay, yeah, me too.
And yeah, in private chat, it's True Crime Jewels, the YouTube link there in private for you guys.
Oh, okay. Okay, excellent. Yeah. Yeah, she definitely has some good information for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and she covers Idaho 4 as well. Like I said, I checked her out like a month and a half ago. With some of the stuff we were covering back at that time, and somebody had referred me to check out her channel, and I checked out, and I was very impressed. So I definitely appreciate you hopping in the show, Allegedly Innocent.
Yes,
and,
you
like
gave
I said,
great information.
Yeah, when we do this show again, I'm thinking probably Friday is when I'm going to be doing it. I'm not sure. I'll probably do Friday night, honestly. So I don't know if you guys are busy on Friday night, but
I might be okay. Send me an email. I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working kind of late, but when I get home, I mean, you stay on for.
Well, we late night. Yeah, we late nighted on Friday nights, Cookie. Yeah, we late nighted on Friday night. So
I know, sure. So I can set up when I get home. It'd probably be about 9:30.
Okay.
Which I'm gonna have to dip out soon because I have to get up at 4 a.m.
I'm looking at 10:20 and I'm like, man, I must. These people are talking about later, and I'm like ready to go to bed now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, not literally. But
yeah. No, I would love to. And Allegedly Innocent, if you're not busy Friday, I know you're a content creator as well. If you're not busy, or reach out to me, let me know the night you'd be able to hop up and hang out on the show, and then I can reach out to the others as well and see if that night would look, because I think it would be it'd be really good to have like you two, Dago, Allegedly Innocent, all of us on a panel talking about this on another evening. I think it'd be really, really great and really informative too, because like I said, I haven't covered this case that much on my channel, and just a little bit before. It's always been very interesting. We've been hammered with all this Idaho 4, and not that I'm going to be done talking about it, but this is one of them that we've kind of checked out a little bit. Definitely crazy, and this 911 call really, really disturbs me. On so many different levels, not just what was taking place on the other end of her phone with all that, but and it seems like there's so much to this as well. I mean, we just were covering Shannon's part, and we're not even sure if it's connected or not yet, but so much right there. I can imagine.
Just to tell everybody, sorry, one other thing, and it's really it's super sad. It's like the rotten cherry on top of the sundae. So Shannon's mother who spearheaded this effort to not forget these girls. And then whether Shannon's involved with the Gilgo 4 or not, it doesn't make a difference. She was brave. She did everything she did. She was later actually unalived by one of her other daughters who had all kind of mental issues. And a lot of it, in my opinion, was triggered by the loss of her sister. So the great advocate that she was, and really without her, the police might have just totally forgot about this. One of her younger daughters took her life in a fit of a psychotic rage. So if you watch the movie, the Lost Girls, that's Sissy Spacek's character. You'll see that they show that at the end. So it's just tragedy wrapped all the way around this. It's just so sad.
Wow.
You know what I heard today, though? And he's talking about Shannon's mother, Mary. Mary and Sarah, her other daughter, like she had, and there's still one daughter that's one of Shannon's sisters that's still alive and talks about this. But Mary and Sarah lived in a duplex, and Sarah was trying to be out on her own, and they started having a lot of friction between them. And then what happened is now I heard this today from a reputable news station that said Sarah started believing. Now she was in and out of mental hospital, so there was definitely that, but said that she started believing that Mary was possessed, with devils or whatever, and that she needed to be killed. And she accused her mom of practicing witchcraft, which, by the way, Mary allegedly did, according to this news cast. So we got a lot of stuff going on in that stew pot.
Yeah, it sounds like this is going to be one of those cases that's going to be talked about a lot. There's going to be a lot to it, and I think there's going to be a lot of connections with a lot. I mean, hell, even if it isn't him, I always wondered, like from the beginning when I first heard about it, just his profession and the type of connections I would imagine him having with that profession. I always wondered if there was some kind of group or something.
Down at City Hall a lot and at the planning office getting all them documents done. So he knows people. He gets stuff done.
Right.
He's a fixer in that industry. So he knows who to grease or take his guy to lunch, or who knows, maybe they share interest in girls or something,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's where a lot of the money. Yeah.
And there's so much more property that's going to be searched. I don't know how many of these other girls, and there's a lot of good websites. If you look up Gilgo 4, there's a website for the girls with all the information. And it tells you how the girls, and really the last thing that I want to make sure that we know is Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Marion Brainerd Barnes were all choked. That was their method. And then I would argue that Sarah Gilbert, or that Shannon Gilbert was too. But all the other girls, there was different ways, and it was very graphic, and it was involved, of some of them were here and some of them were there. And I'm not saying he didn't do that. I'm not saying series guys or gals can't change their MO or signatures or things like that. But to me, I just don't think that. But I think Rex has more that we don't know where they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
100%. I believe that.
And let's hope that he's egotistical enough to admit to all of the crimes. That way these families can have some kind of...
I hope. I think he will, but I hope so too. I agree.
Yeah, he's still fighting, saying I'm innocent. He pleaded not guilty. But I think once the evidence comes out and he's convicted, maybe it might take a conviction, but once there is no hope for him for appeals or whatever, I think he's going to start singing. And you're right, Coach. I think it's going to be like Ed Kemper. He's going to be so proud to tell the details.
Remember the first day or two he cried, and after that they said all he's doing is sleeping. Well, guilty man gets rest. So he's going to plead no to it. But like maybe and remember he asked the guards, is this on TV? Now people said they looked at it 2 different ways. Well, he wants to be embarrassed. That ain't why he asked them. I don't think that's why he asked it. Because now he's big. Oh, now I'm big. I'll show it everybody. You know what I mean? And I think that's his mentality. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
him sitting down at the chair during that interview, just kind of doing this
Yep.
little thing and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
having that little spark in his eye, just kind of gloating about shit and
Mm-hmm.
Oh
almost kind
yeah.
of talking in code in a way
Yeah.
too.
Because
Kind
he's
of
so
like
much
I'm
smarter
smarter
than
than
everybody. He's
yeah, I'm
giving us hints, and we're
smarter
not
than you.
getting him. Hands like
Yeah,
this, eyes closed, looking down on us. Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. He's gonna be. I mean, he wants to be bigger than Bundy.
Hmm.
I'm sure.
Well, he's not as
I'm
handsome as Ted, right?
No.
I could say that as a guy, and that's a safe thing to say. He's an ogre.
No. Yeah, he
That's
is. But have
crazy.
you seen some of his pictures of him looking at the camera coming out of court? I mean,
No.
gosh,
Yeah,
he looks pure
Mm-mm.
evil.
yeah.
Really?
I
No,
think
I haven't seen any of those. The only thing I've
Jeez.
seen is him do that interview with, that one you were
French guy.
talking
Yeah,
about. That's the only one that I've seen. And then the video where they came up on him and apprehended him.
yeah. They
That's
weren't
it.
taking no
That's all I've
chances
seen.
there. They sent quite a
Yeah,
few FBI guys,
Yeah.
yeah.
huh?
So next episode, definitely gonna have to check all of these videos you guys were discussing. Definitely want to check them out and also show them to everybody. So um, I'm going to go ahead and show everybody that interview that we were talking about. It's just a couple, maybe a minute and a half. It's not very long, so everybody knows what we're talking about. And then we'll go ahead and close the show down and end it for the evening. And then I have tomorrow night off, but I'll be back Thursday night. I might do a police simulator episode or something tomorrow night, but I'm not sure. But I'll definitely be back Thursday. And like I said, I'll probably be covering this case Friday night. I'll be doing Idaho 4 Friday morning. So if you guys aren't busy and, whenever you're done, Silky, late night, you're more than welcome to hop up. I'll just send you a link when I start the show. And then
Okay.
whenever you want, you can just click on it and hop on
All right.
whenever you want. And then I'll send one to you too, Coach, if you'd like to hop
Absolutely.
up.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. We're gonna check out that small little interview there. The other one with the fake heart attack, I've heard True Crime Daily kind of doesn't like using their stuff, so I'll still share the link for that video so you can check it out. What we're talking about. I'm just not gonna play it tonight, just in case. The Court TV. And then this is I know it's like a local news or something, but this was just at the beginning of the Court TV episode that I have that we can check out on the next show too. And so we'll just check that out. And let me see here. And then we'll go ahead and end it for the evening. And thank you guys so much for hopping up. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for the
Thank
invite.
you.
CJ.
Thank everyone in chat.
So
Silky,
exciting.
Yes.
So exciting. Everybody loves you. So, and do me a favor, everybody, please share this video. Please put it out there. This isn't like Allegedly Innocent said, this isn't something that gets talked about too much. So, and I know it's not going to get just like Flora or any of these other cases, it's not going to get the airplay it should, but, please definitely help out with, putting it out to your social medias and such, not only for the case discussion, but also to highlight these two amazing people that are on the panel as well, because they do a lot of hard work too. So definitely go show them some love and definitely go hit the sub button. Okay, so this is Court TV, just that small little clip of it. And then I'll share the fake heart attack video.
State police.
There's somebody after me.
Wait, this is not it. Sorry about that. 1 second. This one right here.
Tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in New York.
Okay. Rex Heuerman. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987. I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Kevin. Oh, okay.
And-
Cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. Sometimes I have to be the
Oh,
heavy
that
framing
face.
hammer. Other
That
times I'm
face.
the lightweight hammer just to
Yeah.
nudge things along. Wow.
Okay, that obviously was clipped, and you didn't see him come in. I'd like to watch the full interview because that's the only part of it that I've seen. I'd like to watch
If
the
it-
full one. So if anybody has it, please send it.
Go on my community
Go ahead.
page, CJ. It's not too far back.
I might have
You'll
shared
see
that
the link.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my community
Okay,
page
one
too,
second.
CJ, is the guys breaking it down, his actions in the video, like his fingers like this. Oh,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
Behavior panel.
Yeah.
they're called. Yeah, they're
Don't.
really cool.
Okay, yeah. Then watch his because mine is just the straight interview.
Well, you want to watch them both, though. You want to watch the whole interview because it'll creep you out. You'll be like, this guy's something else. But yeah, watch them both.
Okay, let me see here. So here's the link to the fake heart attack. I promised you I'd put it out there. So there you
You
go.
gotta
Have
watch.
that
Everyone
one.
got to see the fake
Yeah, I
heart
want to
attack.
see that one.
Yeah.
You be your own
Uh,
judge of that.
Here, and I'll put it in private chat to Silky if you wanted that. And let me see.
Okay.
So let me go to Coach Kev. How long
You
is
can't
your
make that
video,
stuff up.
Coach?
Which one?
How long is your video of you breaking down the?
I do a couple. I do a couple like 5-minute ones, and then I did a
Okay.
couple like long lives. So I put I videoed them and then put them up later. And there's a couple live. The lives are probably an hour. The other ones are like 5 minutes or 10 or 12 or something. But
All
Yeah.
right. Is it? What's the title of your video? Where you kind of the deep dive.
the deep dive is probably the longer one. Here, hold on. I'll tell you in a second. If I would tell people to watch one of them for me, it would probably be. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Probably the 5-minute. My take on a possible. That was
Okay.
3 weeks ago, like 5 minutes, and then the next one's 3 minutes. Those little ones are pretty good. I get a lot of information in them. And then the next one above it, the 13-minute one. The deep dive thing, that's just like a promo I did for my thing. But those
Oh,
three
okay.
ones, if you want to know like everything I know about Humerman, it's going to be in that about 30 minutes of those 3 videos. One's 13 minutes, one's 3, and one's 5. And I just like talk in front of the camera and give my little spiel. And a couple things I got right, so I kind of bragged about it in the other video. But just a couple.
Hey, sometimes you have to do that, you know.
I'm a long way
Um,
from John Douglas.
Gotta be your
though.
biggest
Long
fan.
way.
So which one has the full interview of what we just watched? Does any of them have that in there? The full one?
Let me see. I could look none of the things that I just told you about. No.
And let me share here. I'm going to share you
I could
Coach
even give you
Kev's
the guys.
video section. And then those videos he was talking about is, let me see here. If you go to that link and then in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th video is the ones that he was talking about. And let me see here. And then Silky,
see
you
if I
said
can-
you had a community
Yeah.
post?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Or
find
something.
it. I'm on my page right now trying to. It was the day it broke.
Okay. And I
I
will
didn't
share
think it
her
was that far.
community link. And then here's Silky's community link. Let me see here. Yeah, thank you again, allegedly innocent. I appreciate you. Bragging rights to Chloe.
Well,
You have to, you know. Shoot.
I can't find it. I know I
There's
shared
that.
it.
Let me see here.
I'm gonna tell you the name of the page, the thing where that interview is. Give me 1 second,
Okay.
because that's
It
where
was
I
like a
found it.
local, right?
He was from France. So there's
Oh.
he's doing interviews. That guy that did it is actually doing interviews.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. If
Wow. With the national media, or
Yeah,
'cause
he
I'd
did one
like,
here
I'd like to reach out to him.
with CBS New York.
Really?
I'm trying
And
to
he's from
find-
France?
I thought it was a French like YouTube page. That's what I'm trying to find because I watched his original video when this happened.
Huh, I'd like to reach out to him.
That's what I did, and I'm trying to find it. It's not on my community page. What
If
happened
it's
to it?
if it's not on our community
Nice.
page and the YouTube page doesn't exist, I'm right about the FBI putting them up to it.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, that's crazy. I can't find
I need like
that original
I need
one.
like a sound.
I shared on my community page and I tagged you, EJ, and his brother's neighbor down in South Carolina who speaks freely about his brother.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty
It's on-
interesting.
He's pretty funny. He got a
Sleuthing
Clemson hat on.
says it's on private on your community post.
What now?
Silky. Something about it's on private on your community post.
That one shouldn't be. Well, I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
It's been like what, a month, right? How long is it?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go back to community. But I put that out there for everybody when it. I've done a couple of members only posts.
Mm-hmm.
But that is crazy. I can't remember the date that broke. I remember I was at work. And I was so mad that I was at work, and I'm like, I need to be researching, and here I am. And I saw that, and I threw it up on the community post, and I said, here's a link to the guy that was just arrested. Oh, wait, maybe this is it. Maybe this is... Oh, no. Okay, it says, yeah, this video, you're right. This video isn't publicly available. Well, it's not me, because this is a public
So whoever
post.
had that video's...
Yeah. Man, and I didn't download it or screenshot it or anything because I thought, it's going to be there.
We gotta
Wow.
be able to find his name anyway.
Wow. Well, maybe you're right, Coach. Maybe the FBI was
The
involved.
questions were too perfect. And I just kind of said that as kind of like a joke because the questions were so perfect, but...
They heard you and they're like, somebody's onto us. Let's take it down.
Take it down.
You know how they're watching us everywhere.
Oh, you know they are.
Okay,
You know they are.
I just went to Reddit where that video was, and it's private now.
Yeah, it is on my page too. Yeah, it's
allegedly
crazy.
says she has the interview. She'll put it up for
Yes.
us tomorrow. Okay. It is
Allegedly
stored.
taking care of
Okay.
business.
Wow,
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you so much. I'd love to have you up if you're ever interested as well.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm definitely
I
going to
think
check
it'd be
her
really
page out
interesting.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, I got to book
everybody.
you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Again, thank you too for sharing your evening with us. I really appreciate it. It's definitely a great conversation, and everybody loved it as well. So I can't wait for the next one. So thank you so much, you guys.
Either.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
See
you,
you,
everybody. Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye, Coach, and good night, CJ. I'll
Yep.
see you soon. Thank you
Oh, yeah.
so much.
Yep.
No,
thank
thank
you,
you.
CJ.
All
Thank you, chat. I had a blast.
Yeah, me
Thank you
too.
too.
Bye, y'all.
appreciate
Stay
you.
silky.
See you, everybody.
Love it. Stay silky. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Definitely always love having Silky on. It's always a great show. And it was great to meet you finally, Coach Kev. Thanks for coming in and hanging out on the show. And thank you to the community for hanging out with us as well. I knew you'd love her. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get everybody up on panel for the next one, because I think we'd really have some interesting conversations, not only about the case, but different thoughts, theories, and opinions. We all kind of learned a little teeny something tonight, even if we knew a lot. So definitely appreciate your company and conversation. Hopefully, you have a peaceful and positive night. And I might see you tomorrow night, but I'm definitely going to see you Thursday night, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Thank you so much, Silky and Coach Kev. I appreciate you so much. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you, everybody.